Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Satown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then
boom, with Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he.
Jersey. Here's the thing. So my closet upstairs in my bedroom has all my main clothes in it, but then we have a little spare bedroom downstairs, and my wife moved all my jerseys to the closet there. And so I put on this black undershirt upstairs as kind of the theme. And then I did think about wearing the Cooley jersey from his team in Okinawa, but it wouldn't have gone well with because there's actually writing. This is an old, I can't show. It's an old MMA Inc. shirt I was given. That used to be the agency for Faber and Chad Mendez and all those guys. And wouldn't have looked good underneath the white jersey. Is it a little snug? Maybe. But maybe it's not. Don't worry about it. So, yeah, we'll try it out. The big thing here is just me trying to remember to do a jersey every single day. But I think I can pull that off. And good morning, everyone. Welcome in. We have a big show planned for you on a Friday. This is this is the time of day where we generally do non-sports. I like to think of it as calisthenics. It's always a tell if somebody has never listened to or doesn't listen to the show if they come in and say, "Where's the sports?" Because we do this each and every day. Look, when you're getting up this early, most of you listening right now, actually, most people aren't even awake. Most of you listening right now are like normal people. You're getting the bugs out of your eyes. And many of you have not uttered a word yet today, as a matter of fact. Most of you probably have not spoken today yet. You might be drinking your coffee or whatever your beverage is, and, you just get ready for the day. Well, that doesn't work in this business. As soon as the lights and the mic go on, you have to start talking. So I learned a long time ago in mornings, the only way I could really do that, we had an old program director, actually, who happened to be an ex-roommate of mine. So just to outline, we were actually really good friends. And his thing was, like, he hated this. That was his big thing, was like, yeah, guys, you gotta get rid of the show open segment. You can't do that, man. You got to hit the ground running. First thing out of the gate, energy, come in. Boom, boom, boom. This is what we've got today. This is why you should stick around and listen. In his mind, the way he wanted it, and some of you will remember the time period where we did this, the open would be like, let me see. It's probably too complicated for you to just re-rack the music on the open, right? Without going through all the open and stuff like that. Is that something you can pull off?
I can pull it off if you just fill for like a few seconds.
Okay, so I'm just going to give you, while I vamp here, I'm going to give you an idea of what the old PD wanted the show open to be like every morning. Okay, so the music would hit. Welcome into the Carmichael Dave Show, Jason Ross. You can fire it whenever you want. And then after the voice guy would be done, then you get the music bed that would carry out after he got done.
Text at
So you'd have this part, right?
1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave
You
Show.
turn up a
Jason
little bit.
Ross on Satown Sports.
Okay, now he wouldn't want me to pause because I preferred to pause and wait for the the little signal we do. He'd want me to come right in and say, literally, like this. Satown Sports, 1140. Good morning, Carmichael Dave, Jason Ross, Christopher Laud. We'll take your phone calls at 1-800-920-1140. You can text us at 916-339-1140. Check us out on YouTube. Search Satown Sports, like and subscribe. And, of course, you can listen to us on KYMX HD2 in your vehicles. If you do not have AM radio, we've got a huge show for you today. We have this guest at this time. We have that guest at that time. We have this bookmark segment at this time. See, he wants me to set appointments here for you guys to tune in. But right now, let's get to it. It's leading off. Then you cut the music. And then he'd hit that, and we go right into leading off. And that's how, and I was like, I fought that so hard. I just didn't have any leverage. And I was like, I can't do that. It's too much too early.
And look at you now fighting off all of the pushback to be able to fill 7 minutes talking about how you don't want to talk about sports.
It just finally got to a point where I'm being true. If I'm being like, look, I'm just being transparent. I probably shouldn't say this.
Yeah, that's like when you say honestly at the start of a sentence. You should never say that.
You should. I'm just being totally honest. Number one, I try to be a 100% team player where, like, especially with our younger folks at the station, that I got helped a lot along the way. I try to do that with our young, the people trying to come in and establish. I think you pay it forward. That's very important to me. Chemistry in the hallways, being accessible. If somebody has a question, whatever, stuff like that. I think that's the responsibility of anyone at any workplace that they care about to do that. So that's number one. I'm trying to put in my good guy credentials here before I finally had a conversation with our big boss, and I was like, look, man, it's not like we can't all improve. You're never too old to improve and get with the times. But I just don't, this is just how I have to do it. And if that doesn't work, I'm not your guy. Like, just straight up, that's just honest. This is who I'm going to be. This is how I'm going to open the show. This is how I'm going to work with Jason and Chris. I'm going to go off on dumb tangents sometimes. We're going to talk about food. We're going to get off the mark on occasion. My ADD, I'm going to, try to control it, but sometimes I'm going to go on a 10-minute rant about isolated vocals or foods to serve during the Super. It's just the way it is. If that's something that you can't, like, if that doesn't work, then it's not a my way or the highway. It's just, I'm being honest. That's just who I am. It's never going to change no matter how hard we try. That's just how the show is. And the powers that be, as smart as they were, that's why I think it works so well with Jason and Chris, because Chris is the guy who's kind of quieter, but he knows all the right sounds to pick. He knows he knows where to get in and out on the merry-go-round. Jason's the perfect partner because, for all the reasons, Jason's amazing, but also Jason's the calm in the storm. He's the one that can, as dramatic and emotional as I get, he's very straightforward and kind of sees both sides. And he's also really good at, and it's a nuance, but he's really, really good at almost subliminally bringing me back on track in his own Jason way. And it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome to work with those guys. And that's why I think the show works so well. And now we're at a point where, like I said, we're all pretty much doing our thing. You guys are fantastic with us and with the numbers, as we talked about the other day. So they're leaving us alone. That being said, we got 3 minutes here, right? I did want to address one thing in the beginning of the show when nobody listens. Because now that we have Dallas and now that we have the Celtics in the finals, of course, a lot of the Luka talk is resurfacing. Now, look, it's not like the old days with the Luka talk. Like, Yes, we should have taken Luka. That is no longer an argument. It's one of those things where it's like, the sun's going to shine tomorrow. Like, there's no argument there anymore. But a lot of times, through years, and this happens historically, you'll get the thing that happened. There will be some periphery conversations about that thing that happened. And then that turns into legend, which turns into lore, which a lot of times turns into what is common thought. So I just wanted to address a couple of the things with Luka, because I think one of the most popular things I see out there, obviously Vlade Divac was the GM. Vlade Divac knew Luka and his family since Luka was like 5 years old. Vlade was teammates with Luka's dad. One of the more popular things that we've seen in history is Vlade did not draft Luka Doncic because he was feuding with Luka's dad. So I just want to address that and just kind of set the record straight, and then we can move on here. So that wasn't true. I don't even know how that started. I mean, it's a juicy rumor. And the reason why I know it's not true, and I've said this on the air before, Vlade and I used to be smoking partners, okay? He had this little spot at Golden One Center that they turned into a little office for him. We're probably going to go long on this, by the way. It's fine. It's Friday. There was this spot where you go out, go up some stairs, go down a stair, go through an elevator, whatever, and you go into the player parking lot. And in the back corner was this little kind of gated area that you couldn't see in there. And what they did, it was so they put a little green AstroTurf in there for a little carpet. They had a table and a couple of chairs. They had a little TV with a monitor that they put out there, so to monitor, what was going on in arena, or if there were other games on. And that would be kind of Vlade's little in-game office. And so prior to the game, halftime, whatever, Vlade'd roll out there and he'd puff a couple down. Well, when he knew I smoked too, so one day he was like, hey, you want to go smoke? And I was like, yeah. So one of the coolest parts of my whole life in this business was being able to go and hork down a couple of heaters with Vlade during halftime or prior to a game. And it got to the point where I would look for that, and pretty much anytime I was at a game, he'd kind of give me the hand signal over where he stood, where Jeff Petrie used to be, and or we'd text, and boom, I'd meet him out there. And it was look, you couldn't ask for better insight as a media member into the guy's brain on all kinds of things. And Vlade is just such a wonderful human being. I get it. He screwed the pooch on Luka. He's a wonderful human being, and I'll say that till the day I die. So the Luka dad thing, I bring that up just to kind of lay a groundwork for why I'm credible when I say this. I asked him about that the day all that kind of broke, and he was laughing, and he took out his big giant iPhone and he handed it to me, and it was the page of texts that he was having with Luka's dad that day. In fact, I think the most recent text was like an hour prior to, it was like an hour ago when he handed me the phone. He goes, David, look. And yes, my Vlade's terrible. Look, Luka's dad, I text all day. Read for yourself. And I grabbed he hands me the phone, and I look at the phone, and I go, Vlade, this is all in, Serbian, dude. And he goes, no. Copy, paste, go Google. And I go, really? He goes, yes, Google. He goes, Google this one here. And the one he pointed to that you copy paste, I went to Google Translate, I put it in there, that whole thing was long story short, they were laughing together about the stories that they were feuding. And I think at one point it was like Luka's dad, maybe it was Vlade, but one of them said to the other, like, yeah, I really hate you, man. And then, oh yeah, it was Luka's dad, because then Vlade responded, yeah, that's why I didn't draft your son. They're literally laughing about it, and I'm reading it. This is not a third-hand or second-hand account. I saw the damn phone, and I saw the text, and this is on the day that big story broke. I assure you that a feud between Luka's dad and Vlade Divac was not why Vlade didn't draft Luka. And let's remember, please, it was Vlade and his assistant GM, Brandon Williams. And I really, to this day, believe that Brandon Williams was the heaviest voice in that conversation. I will tell you, not justifying why they did it, I will just simply reiterate the actual thought process as to why the Sacramento Kings drafted Marvin Bagley. Number one, they just weren't confident in Luka Doncic's conditioning. And maybe this is where Vlade, knowing him for years, kind of came into play, is there were some questions about his conditioning habits, his eating habits, his ability to remain healthy and remain conditioned for an entire career. The worry that as he got older and richer and better, that would kind of bleed into his career and it would be a short-lived career. I mean, again, no guarantees, but I'm telling you, these are some of the negative marks they had. The other thing was that they felt like if they were going to draft Luka Doncic, they would eventually lose De'Aaron Fox, that De'Aaron Fox was not an off-ball guard, that he needed to have the ball in his hands, and that bringing in Luka would lose them De'Aaron. And the thought was that De'Aaron was the core of the team, should be the leader, and they needed somebody to counter or to augment and support De'Aaron. So it wasn't as much a we don't like Luka. It was, well, no, we like Luka. He's going to be a good player. But we have the opportunity to grab this guy that's breaking all these ACC records. He's a banger down low. He's the most athletic guy in the draft. He's a guy that should have been a senior in high school his freshman year at Duke, in Marvin Bagley. This is it. This is their Stockton and Malone, if you will, but not an exact, comparison. Now we've got Fox and we've got Bagley. We've got our guard threat and we have our big threat, and we can build around these guys traditionally as a traditional team. And this is going to be a partnership for the next 10 years. And we now have this guy Bagley was, nobody's ever can't miss, but again, incredibly athletic, putting up insane numbers at Duke, doing what he did in the ACC. Go back and look at his ACC numbers and his ACC awards there and all the great NBA players that have come out of there, specifically Duke, but also the ACC. There's no reason to think Marvin Bagley wouldn't put his name up with some of the greats, including another guy who came out of the ACC, Michael Jordan. Not that Bagley was going to be Jordan. I'm just saying the ACC has a long history of putting out really, really good players. It's not like the guy was doing it in the Colonial League or something. That was a thought process. That was the entire thought process. That's the thought process that went into them drafting Marvin Bagley over Luka Doncic. Now, we know that thought process was incredibly, historically wrong, and I think I'm ready to say right now, I think we can say this. It's drafting Marvin Bagley over Luka Doncic is the second worst draft mistake in the entire history of the NBA. The only other one would be Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan. I'm not going to count Hakeem Olajuwon. People forget who went number one in that draft. That was not a draft mistake. He was not Michael Jordan, but that was not a mistake. Nowhere near the gulf that was Bowie and Jordan and Bagley and Luka. And by the way, Sam Bowie has had the better career so far than Marvin Bagley. If you go back and you look at those numbers, there is still a chance that could turn into be the biggest draft mistake of all time. But right now I would rate it at number 2.
Why did you not include Greg Oden versus Kevin Durant?
Because I don't think I would honestly put that third. I think Bowie over Jordan stands alone. Okay. And I think when it's all said and done, look, Kevin Durant's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's an NBA champion with the Warriors. He's one of the greatest players of all time. I think when it's all said and done, I think Bagley in his career versus Luka in his career is going to be a bigger gulf. And the problem there, even though Bagley's had injury years, it's not his injuries, because even when he's healthy, he showed signs his rookie year, which might have been his best year, of being an actually really good player. He had 30-point games. He had multiple double-digit rebound games. I mean, there were signs that Marvin Bagley was going to be a fantastic player his rookie year. He just couldn't stay healthy. In Greg Oden's case, Greg Oden's career was just entirely wiped by injuries. But by the way, it's a good debate. If somebody were to say, nah, it's Oden Durant, I wouldn't argue.
I think that's fair. I feel like the Johnny Flynn Curry thing is like, well, Curry was the 7 pick in the draft. A lot of people didn't see it coming.
And the fact of the matter is that I'm talking about a one single, because you could, that's definitely top 5. You could make an argument that was number 1, because the GM at the time for the Minnesota Timberwolves drafted not 1 but 2 point guards ahead of Stephen Curry.
I think I'm with you on the 2-3-1-2.
Yeah,
is a better.
One of the worst flubs in NBA draft history. And guess what? Kings fans are that's just part of it. Somebody said the other day, why do we still talk about this? Well, why? Because the Kings are still nowhere. The Kings are still not competing for a title, although there's a light apparently at the end of the tunnel, we hope. And you're watching somebody in Luka Doncic that has been to a Western Conference Finals and now is going to his first NBA Finals and is 4 games away from winning a championship. So, anyways, I guess what I would say in closing is that I don't mind the logic and mindset that Vlade and Brandon went into the draft with. I think it was incredibly wrong, but I can understand their thought process. Like, I get it. There's a logic to what they were doing. It's just in the end, they picked. It was a horrific mistake based on how amazing one player was and just how big of a bust the other one was. I get the logic. The logic may be sound, but players were certainly wrong. And it is what it is. And honestly, in the end, not only did it cost the Kings quite a few wins, I'm sure, it also cost them quite a bit of money. Much like you not switching to electric has been costing you money for God knows how long. My friends at American Energy Heating and Air want to encourage you. They've got me doing it each and every day. They want me to remind you that they're there for you. They're there for you. And they want to guide you through the very simple process of getting yourself an incredibly efficient HVAC system. They'll install it. They'll get you the best deal on it. And you know what? You can get up to $9,000 in rebates on that thing. They'll do all the paperwork for you. All of it. That's the beauty about going with American Energy. You know you're going to get the best deal there is. And they can come out to your house for free. Just make the appointment. And they'll come out to your house. They'll take a look at your current system. And they'll let you know just what they can do for you, how much they can save for you. They've been around since 1981, sort of the greater Sacramento area. These are good people. Just give them a call, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. AmericanEnergyAir.com. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable. We going right into it now? All right, leading off. No break. Starts right now.
Let's do it. Leading off, the 3 top stories in the morning.
Huge news. This is very...
What happened? Did we just get...
Let's do it.
Just cut off? Okay.
The 3 top stories in the morning.
Huge news. This is very important.
Here's cut number 1.
Here we go.
The Dallas Mavericks back to Inside the NBA, presented by Kia on a night when the Dallas Mavericks absolutely blew out the Minnesota Timberwolves on their floor. Wow, 124-103, not nearly an indication of how lopsided this game was. Dallas leading by as many as 36 and punching their ticket to the NBA Finals, where they will take on the Boston Celtics a week from tonight.
Yeah, this was just an absolute crushing by the Dallas Mavericks. Hey, remember the guy yesterday that looked like me that thought Minnesota was going to win? They were favored by 4.5 and thought this thing would go back to Dallas. Oops.
Who was that guy?
I don't know. He sucks. Fire him. My goodness. I mean, this was not a, well, the game turned at this place and, oh, well, but no, dude. Dallas came out and was like, yep, we're going to punch you in the mouth. You're going to fall to the floor. And then we're going to pick you up. We're going to go grab a rolling chair. We're going to put it at center court. right on the logo. And then we're going to put you over our knee, and we're just going to spank you in front of all of your friends and family and home fans. We're just going to spank you for 4 quarters. And then we're going to send you back, give you the old salute, and you just got gentlemen swept. So, yeah, Boston swept the Pacers. The Mavericks needed just one more game. 35-19 at the end of one. 69-40. 69-40 going into the half. Golly. Yeah, Minnesota outscored them by 8 in the second half, largely because Dallas is like, yeah, we're good. We got you. 36 apiece for Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, who were absolutely sublime. No turnovers for Kyrie Irving, which I always think is about as impressive of a stat as you can get. Karl Anthony Towns showed up, 28 points, 12 boards. Was only 1 of 6 from behind the arc, but still managed to shoot 50%. Anthony Edwards was efficient, 10 of 18, 28 points, 9 boards, 6 assists. The problem there is that you got 56 points out of those 2. That's more than half of Minnesota's entire scoring output. It just wasn't a great night for anyone else, including 6th man of the year, air quotes, Naz Reid, who was 2 of 10. As a matter of fact, the rest of the starters combined for 24 points. We'll do a postmortem on Minnesota a bit later. Obviously, they don't want to hear this right now, but a great season for them. And we'll focus more on the Dallas Mavericks and them just being 4 wins away from an NBA championship, much like these next guys. Cut number 2.
Cut number 2.
Boston Celtics, Dallas Mavericks. Celtics with home court advantage. Hasn't mattered to Dallas through these playoffs. Haven't had home court advantage yet, but they have advanced to the NBA Finals. 2-0 on the season series. Luka had a couple of triple-doubles, 33, 18, and 13, 37, 12, and 11. Tatum had a 39-point game and a 32-point game. Porzingis played in one of those, had 24. Overall, 4 straight wins for the Boston Celtics over the Dallas Mavericks.
Mm-hmm. So, Celtics are going to be the favorite in this one. As we said yesterday, they get 9 days off. In the end, Dallas will end up getting, I think 6 days off? Look here, when the hell did the finals start? Isn't it like June?
Thursday.
Yeah, it's next Thursday, June 6th. So, okay, they get 6 days off. Nothing wrong with that. June 6th, Thursday, the finals start. I wish the finals should always start on like a Sunday or something. That's weird. They start on a Thursday. 5:30 ABC. Boston will host the Mavericks. I think the big, interesting, fun debate about this series is which team has the 2 best players. Which team's got the best duo? Is it Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving? Is it Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? I think that is a really, really difficult debate. And honestly, I think a lot of people on the surface, I think there'd be a lot of people. In fact, I'll put that poll out today. I'm curious where people land. I think a lot of people initially would say Luka and Kyrie. And I understand the thought process. But I think if you're factoring in the entire way basketball is played, I actually think it's Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. When you factor defense in, Jason Tatum is an above-average defender. Jaylen Brown is a great defender. Neither Kyrie nor Luka could defend, something. I can't think of the right analogy. They're not good defenders. But in the end, it also comes down to the rest of the squad, and I think that's going to be the key here. Obviously, your superstars are going to need to carry you, but who's got the better depth? And by the way, what depth? Who in that depth will show up? You can have the better depth, but they better show up. And you got a little bit more experience overall on Boston when it comes to these moments than you do the Mavs. A lot more pressure, I think, on the Celtics than the Mavs in this series. But let's be honest, man. When you're 4 games away from getting to wear a ring, especially if it's your first, everyone's got pressure on it. Cut number 3.
Cut number 3.
And the coach of the year for 2023 goes to Mike Brown of the Sacramento Kings.
Hey, that was a little over a year ago. Remember that? Just a little over a year ago. And here we are. Shams Charania yesterday reporting that the Kings have basically countered with an offer. And we're going to discuss the tweet Shams put out, because I think it's incredibly fun to go down this rabbit hole.
I'm guessing one word in particular stuck out.
So that seems to be the popular sentiment. Competitive offer. Shams tweeted that the Kings had countered with a competitive offer. Now let's think about that. Well, hold on. Competitive offer. Who would say it's a competitive offer? I mean, obviously, if you're Mike Brown, if you're his camp, you don't think it's a competitive offer. You want more than that. So how dumb do you have to be if you're on the Kings side? How dumb do you have to be to put out something like competitive offer? Because it tells on you. You just told everybody exactly what you're doing. We're going to take a break here. And we're going to come back. I'm going to tell you why you all are wrong. And why don't go so fast. Because I'm about to flip that whole narrative on its ear. Here's a hint. It wasn't the Kings. Kings didn't do it. And I'm going to tell you exactly why coming up next.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SatownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SatownSports.com.
Hello, I'm Frank Cock with Retirement Security Centers with a weekly economic update. Summer's officially here, and many Americans are driving to various locations. When they get there, they may find prices have been driven higher than last year. What is still driving these higher costs? While goods are seeing little to no inflation, the higher costs are being driven primarily by services, including healthcare, transportation, accommodations, and housing rents. Home prices in the top 20 metro markets increased 7.4% in the past 12 months, ending March 2024, while the national average was up 6.5% over the same time period, led by San Diego, which increased 11.1%. Are we experiencing a vibrant real estate market, or gains being at least driven partially by scarcity? Existing home sales fell again in April, down 1.9%. Existing homeowners may be waiting for mortgage rates to fall. Until inventories increase, will we see price stabilization, or will potential home buyers be driven to frustration? How might this affect you or your family? Please go to frankontheradio.com to schedule an appointment, watch videos, and receive market updates. I'm ready to help you start your journey so you can define your future.
Frank Cockrell is a registered representative of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corporation, a broker-dealer member SIPC and registered investment advisor. Retirement Security Centers is not an affiliate of Lincoln Financial Advisors.
What is Subcontractors United? It's a list of 3 pre-qualified and licensed contractors in over 40 trades to help with your home project needs. From cabinets to heating and air to landscapers and everything in between, Subcontractors United makes finding qualified contractors free and easy with no accounts to set up. Visit subcontractorsunited.com today and experience the joy of stress-free home improvement. Save time and money at subcontractorsunited.com.
Welcome to the May Springtime Sales Event at Kia of Vacaville. Are you ready for an exceptional automotive journey? We're excited to present to you the pinnacle of automotive excellence, the Kia Telluride. As May unfolds, come explore the remarkable features of the Kia Telluride. Beyond being just a vehicle, it embodies a lifestyle. With a seamless blend of sophistication and practicality, the Telluride is ready to elevate your driving experience to extraordinary heights. Whether you're embarking on a family getaway or navigating busy city streets, the Kia Telluride offers unparalleled comfort and innovation. Moreover, with Kia's unwavering commitment to safety and reliability, you can drive with absolute confidence wherever your adventures take you. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Experience the exceptional Kia Telluride firsthand. Visit us today at Kia of Vacaville and take advantage of exclusive offers during the May Springtime Sales Event. Your adventure awaits. Kia of Vacaville, where innovation meets excellence. Model availability, lease options, and features may vary. Please visit Kia of Vacaville for more details.
Sacramento sports fans, get ready to amp up your summer with the Satown Sports live events calendar. We've got a lineup that's awesome. First up, mark your calendar for June 8th when NF takes the stage at the Golden One Center. Visit livenation.com for tickets and get ready for a killer high-energy show. Don't miss music legends Daryl Hall and Elvis Costello with the Imposters on June 12th, and NSYNC and Backstreet artists Joey Fatone and AJ McLean on June 22nd. Two great shows coming in June to Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Then looking ahead to August 4th, get ready for the Outlaw Music Festival at the Toyota Amphitheater, featuring legends like Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and John Mellencamp, presented by Live Nation. The Satown Sports live events calendar, your ultimate playbook for the best shows and events in town. Stay tuned to Satown Sports for exclusive updates and your chance to win tickets.
Waking you up with the best in local sports.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Satown Sports.
What is this song? I don't recognize it. This is a Kyle song.
Yeah, it's interesting how the behind the scenes, how the music works back here. It's just like a mashed playlist of like Verlad and me and Simone and Nate and Jay just all together.
Gotcha.
So this song is Cupid by the K-pop group 50/50.
Okay, let's stick to Chris's. Okay.
Gotcha.
Can we do that? Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah. Little
too upbeat.
Nah, just, we have our songs. I'm a sucker for although, hey, if you can find an instrumental version of Eminem's Houdini that dropped earlier today, he's got himself I'm not good at a lot of things. I'm good at predicting which songs will be hits. That's going to be a hit. It's a callback to one of his old songs. It's absolutely going to be a hit.
At some point, you'll get the Friday I'm in Love Christopher Laud special.
Yeah. All right, let's sorry, old friend was texting me there. All right, I'm going to give you a fun little look at this whole Kings thing. Let me find Shams' tweet from yesterday, which I should have done during the break. If I was a good show host, I'd have this all ready to go. I don't want to have to cycle through every Shams tweet. But he reported the following. The Sacramento Kings have made a competitive offer to head coach Mike Brown on a contract extension, 3 years and $21 million through 26-27, up to $27 million with bonuses, sources say. So far, no agreement. Brown is believed to be seeking around $10 million annually. 3 years and $21 million would be $7 million a year guaranteed, and we don't know what those bonuses would be, but if he hit all those bonuses, that would put him up to $9 million, which is still below. So they're offering $7 million base, $9 million if he hits all the bonuses, which we don't know. That could be winning championships. We don't know what the hell those are. Either way, it's still a max of $9 million, which is about $1 million less than reportedly what he's looking for, which is 10. One thing that's caught everyone's eye is the editorializing in Shams' tweet, which is rare for either Woj or Shams to do. One word: competitive. Shams isn't going to editorialize on his own. Neither will Woj. As I told you earlier in the week, this isn't 100% of the time, but generally, though they have sources on all sides, generally it seems that Woj's sources are usually team-based. Shams' sources are generally camp/agent-based. Not all the time, but generally. So he puts out this tweet, and I'm going to get into my Brian Windhorst conspiracy fingers in the air thing right now. And everyone's jumping on it. Now, Kyle, if you had to pick a side, and we'll get to this in 3 for Madness too, but Which side has more leverage, Mike Brown or the Kings?
That's a good question.
Well, I don't think it is. I think it's Mike Brown. Because of the history of the Sacramento Kings stepping in it, the fact that they have an owner, like many, that do not like taking PR hits, and the fans are firmly, these guys read social media. They know what's going on. They know the fans are firmly on the side of Mike Brown, that the Kings are getting killed by national pundits and all that stuff. They've got the leverage. And I'm here to tell you this. There's a lot of stupidity that goes on both with NBA teams and with NBA camps, agents, etc. There's a lot of stupidity. These people also aren't completely stupid. Which is more likely in your mind? Let's go checkers. The Sacramento Kings leaked to Shams Charania the contract offer that they put out there and said, hey, we want you to make sure you put in there, like, can you let people know this is competitive? And not knowing that would completely and totally, A, give away who the leak was, and B, that people be like, competitive, bro, you're still below what they're asking for. And Ty Lue just got $14 million yesterday. And everyone's eating that up. Oh, my God, the Kings are idiots. What are you doing? This is stupid. It's not competitive. Look at Ty Lue. How could you be so stupid to say that? Let's play chess for a second. Sam and I talked yesterday. Went a little inside, behind the scenes baseball here. We talked a little bit about Mike Brown and his camp. His agent's a guy by the name of Warren Legary, who's one of the more powerful agents in the league. He's very, very, he'll let you know what he thinks. And he's not afraid to raise his voice and be passionate about things. He's been doing this a long, long time. He's got a nice client list, and he specializes in coaching. Why are we not considering, A, based on the history that we pointed out last week, Woj generally team-based, Shams generally camp-based. Why are we not considering that the chess move in this whole situation would be from Mike Brown's camp, Warren Legary specifically, to leak those terms and to ask that the word competitive is used? Why would you not want to sway public opinion that way? Both sides have the offer. Both sides could leak it. It far, far, far more benefits Mike Brown's camp to have this done in public than it does the Sacramento Kings. I assure you, the Kings do not want to do this in public. Think about it logically. They don't have leverage. You're not going to turn the fan base. You're not going to turn national media. They're doing nothing. The Kings may be not the greatest at certain things. They're not this bad at PR. They're not this bad at PR, generally. Now, is there a chance that's all garbage and it was the Kings? Sure. Yeah, there's a chance. I don't buy it, though. I think this is Mike Brown's side.
It sounds like we're operating under the baseline assumption that regardless of who leaked it, this tweet doesn't reflect well upon the Kings.
I think we can all agree on that. I think we can not only all agree that Shams' tweet makes the Kings look incredibly cheap and stupid, but can we all also agree that anyone who would have known that tweet was coming out prior would have also thought this? I can't imagine anyone in the Kings brass or PR department going, let's say competitive, Shams. Let's leak that out there, pal. This is really going to get them on our side. No, it's PR suicide.
So if we all are operating under the baseline assumption that this reflects poorly upon the Kings, the question then becomes, is this the Kings making a mistake or a misjudgment, or is this a strategic move from the camp of Mike Brown and specifically his agent? I think that's a more interesting conversation.
Well, that's the conversation we're having, because I think, and the point I'm trying to make is that I think this is coming from, it's either coming from Mike Brown's camp or it's coming from a third party that, 6 degrees of separation that's sympathetic to Mike Brown's camp. I don't buy that this is coming from the Kings. It's just too stupid. And I'm a guy who's ripped the Kings here, there, and everywhere. This is too obvious. It's I'm watching this show right now from 4 years ago called The Queen's Gambit on Netflix. And maybe that's why I'm in the whole chess and checkers thing right now. but just looking at the chessboard, it's way too obvious, and everyone is eating it up, and everyone's running with it. And from a PR and a communication standpoint, this is a very obvious result of that. And I'm just cautioning people, hold up a second, hold on. And I've said from the beginning, I've said it on Twitter, I've said it on the show, there's something really strange going on here. And I can't put my finger on it, but this is weird. It's not, somebody said to me yesterday, well, what if there's like a serious disconnect between Monty? What if there's something more sinister? What if there's this big disconnect between Mike Brown and Monty, or Mike Brown and ownership? Or what if there's something crazy? Or what if Mike Brown wants to move Sabonis to the 3? Something weird like that. What if Mike Brown's insisting that they trade De'Aaron, all these conspiracy theories? Well, here's why none of that's true. Because if all of that's true, it's not like you're going to come to a contract decision with him and, that takes care of it. Oh, we're going to give him $10 million. Okay, no, you're still going to have these fundamental issues. They would just fire him. They would just fire him with 1 year left on his deal. And if that were happening, that's when those conspiracies would come to light, and we go, oh, there was a very huge fundamental disconnect that couldn't be solved, and they've parted ways. So get out of your head that there's some sort of crazy behind-the-scenes conflict.
It's just a $3 to $4 million per year gap in negotiations that has entered a stalemate.
Well, if you're to believe the tweet, and I do believe the numbers of the tweet, I do think those are accurate. 3 years and $21 million is $7 million. 3 years and $27 million, which is the max you get out of bonuses. That's $9 million. If Mike Brown's wanting $10 million, then we're talking about a $1 to $3 million a year gap over 3 years, which would be $3 to $9 million. Guys, this is weird. It's happening in public. I'm starting to get a little worried that I still do believe they're going to resolve it. But now we're getting into the zone where maybe you start to worry. Maybe you start to worry, well, even if they do solve it, are there going to be hard feelings left over? Are both sides now going to irreconcilably not trust each other here on out because of this like we're getting into a zone right now where this stuff could stick around. Meanwhile, Malik Monk's out there watching all of this, trying to make a decision on free agency, perhaps. Some of you think it's Monty McNair. I don't buy that for a second. Monty McNair, of course, is free to negotiate with whomever, wherever. Almost always coach contracts are almost always negotiated with the team. We're talking about the CFO, the owner himself or herself. Very rarely is a GM going to be the sole person, or in many cases not involved at all in negotiating a coach's contract. That's generally, just think about it like this, guys. You need a GM and a coach to work together and year round. They have to work very close together. You don't want the GM on the other side of the table telling the coach, well, this is why you're not worth this much. Let that be the aboves, so that the GM can play good cop, good cop. Be like, yeah, man, I don't know why they're being so cheap with you, bro. Most owners will not put a GM in that position. So I highly doubt that Monty is behind this. This is Vivek and the upper echelon executive crew that generally negotiates this, and Monty's agent, Warren Legary. And hopefully this will be solved and solved soon. I would like to see this be solved over the weekend. But no, I don't buy that report coming from the Kings. I ain't buying it, man. I'm not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe, as we have way too many times. We'll take a break. I like how you said 30 seconds, but we're actually, according to this, 9 minutes late. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, safe or out, right after this.
What's the missing piece for the 49ers?
Which names will they add during free agency? Whether it's in season or off season, the coverage never stops. Get the latest 49ers news on Satown Sports and SatownSports.com.
Are you stressing about your IRS tax problems? Have you received notices from the IRS threatening to garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, or seize your property? You need an ally. Allies Tax Relief has tax attorneys and enrolled agents that are ready to fight for you. They have saved millions for taxpayers just like you. Allies Tax Relief can help put a stop to IRS collections and, most importantly, negotiate your tax debt. Here's Brenda, a happy client of Allies Tax Relief.
I owed the IRS around $57,000, and they're about to start garnishing my paychecks. I heard a commercial on the radio about Allies Tax Relief, so I thought I'd give them a call. After a day, they were able to at least stop the garnishments, and after a few months of negotiations, I walked away owing the IRS only $301.
If you owe the IRS, call Allies Tax Relief right now for your free consultation. Call 800-230-5174. 800-230-5174. That's 800-230-5174.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle Draper here from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. I'm out enjoying this gorgeous North California weather, and I know you are too. And all you need on a day like this is a road trip to clear the mind. Why not a road trip in a newer pre-owned Mercedes-Benz? Mercedes-Benz of Stockton has a huge selection of new and pre-owned vehicles at their gorgeous new store. It's just a half hour from SAC, right at the 8 Mile Road exit. And trust me, it's the best car shopping experience of my life. Go see my fine friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton or go online anytime at mbofstockton.com.
Safe or out? It's time to go around baseball. 3 pitches, 3 swings. It's safe or out on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
By the way, the poll is out. Hello. On put that out on the old tweeter. If you want to put one in the YouTube chat, you can too. Who has the better duo? Dallas with Luka and Kyrie, Boston with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. What do you think the percentage breakdown is, and who do you think is winning this one, Kyle?
I'm going to go 60% Luka, Kyrie, 40% Tatum, Brown.
71% say Dallas has the better duo. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean, let me ask you this. If we're drafting players from the Mavericks and Celtics back and forth, and I get the first pick and I take Luka, who do you take second?
I'd take Jason Tatum.
Okay.
But then I'd take Jaylen Brown third and Kyrie fourth.
So I think that answers the question, right? And some people might even take Kyrie as high as second, depending on how you feel about him.
But if you go 1 and 4 and 2 and 3, doesn't 2 and 3, I guess, isn't 2 and 3 the better duo?
Depends.
I guess so.
Depends how good number 1 is.
All right, baseball time. Go ahead.
Question 1, the Mets released Jorge Lopez after he threw his glove, saying he went over the line. Safe or out? This was an overreaction.
Safe. Look, man, this Mets team sucks. They suck. And nobody likes losing. They have the highest payroll in the league and one of the worst records. And they're trying to set an example with Jorge Lopez because he threw his glove into the stands in frustration. You know what would actually make me want to release the guy is if he didn't throw his glove and just walked off and cashed his paycheck. It's emotion. You're losing. It's frustration. You're losing. I'm not saying what he did was right. Don't get me wrong, but you're trying to set that as an example, especially after the press screwed the pooch and said he had said he was on the worst team in the whole blanking MLB when he said, I'm the worst teammate, or I look like the worst teammate. Here's the other thing that you have to take into account. Boomer Esiason, who's a very popular, obviously you know him from football, very popular morning host, along with our old friend Greg Giannotti, Gio and Boomer at WFAN in New York. Boomer went off about this. But didn't do his research because later on in the show, Esiason learned that Jorge Lopez's 11-year-old son is suffering from what's called familial Mediterranean fever and is awaiting a transplant. So Boomer went from saying, quote, you can't have a player acting this way, saying these things, you have to immediately get rid of them. This is part of a locker room culture problem, if you ask me. He went from saying that earlier in the show to finding out, oh, this is what really is going on, and then saying, quote, I can totally understand why you may lose it on the field the way he did. And I can also understand now why internally the Mets may have handled it a bit differently than I would have liked it. Yeah. It is an overreaction. And obviously Lopez is going through some stuff. And by the way, by all accounts, he's a good dude. He's a good dude and he's a good teammate. So good job, Mets. You just DFA'd a guy that, you could have turned this into an us against the world thing. And instead you got rid of a guy right in the middle of his son waiting a transplant. So good job, New York. Number 2, please.
Safe or out?
Wander Franco's administrative leave was extended through July 14th. Safe or out? The Rays should just release him.
Out. The Rays should not release him, and I'll tell you why. As disgusting as the allegations are, and there's 2 this year with Wander Franco and Josh Giddey. I'm just honestly, I'm a huge believer in the justice system, and MLB is extending his leave strategically because the leave will then. The due date is after when the Dominican is expected to release the findings of their investigation and either continue to press their charges, add more charges, or drop the case entirely. And baseball's waiting on that. I don't know if he did it or didn't, and any media member saying so is being irresponsible. Now, generally, where there's smoke, there's fire. So, the irresponsible part of me in my head is like, it's probably right. But I don't know that. And I think imagine he gets released. They try to hold his money and it's not true. Like, you got to let the system play out. Now, if it turns out it was true, yeah, dude, release him and he probably shouldn't play baseball again. Also, just because they don't charge him, that's why baseball does its own investigation, because they don't have the same burden of proof that the legal system does. And so I think if baseball said, you didn't get charged, dude, but here's some irrefutable stuff here, we're going to come down on you hard either with a lifetime ban or a suspension or whatever it may be. But I am a big believer in whether it's Trevor Bauer, whether it's Wander Franco, whether it's Josh Giddey, whomever it is, and however heinous the charge is, pretty much with very, very few exceptions. Look, dude, if a guy is on camera and he murders somebody in Times Square, we can have that conversation. But I do think the system needs to play itself out. Listen, generally, you avail yourself to the justice system. You get a jury of your peers. If the jury unanimously convicts you of whatever, I'm going to go with you did it. But I'll wait for that to play itself out. I'm sure everybody feels the same way about that, and nobody disagrees whatsoever. Number 3, please.
Safe or out?
Bit of a transition here. Of all the ceremonial first pitches in MLB history, which one is your favorite?
Hey, congratulations to you. I forgot to put in a third one. I just realized that, and you did. Thank you. Of all the ceremonial first pitches in history, what was my favorite one? I can tell you that a lot of times in this business, Kyle, questions like this and segments like this are very difficult to answer. I will tell you in this case, having seen quite a few ceremonial first pitches from the comedic to the not, whatever, this might be the easiest question for me to answer in the history of my entire career, truly. Because for me, there is not a doubt. There is no room for argument. I will accept no debate. Argue with your mama or the wall over there. The greatest ceremonial first pitch in history. That would be George W. Bush, Yankee Stadium. And people have actually done the research on ceremonial presidential first pitches ever since they started getting filmed and showing on the radar where the pitch landed. And George W. Bush had the strikiest of strikes. He's wearing a bulletproof vest. The country is in turmoil. They're in New York City. You have 50,000 people standing and cheering. The security threats are off the charts. Everyone's looking to this guy. The what would you call it? The symbolism, the patriotism. I mean, if he goes up there and just dirts one, he goes up there. And I don't care how you feel about President Bush. I know things have been politicized, whether it's 9/11, all that we've learned through it. This isn't what that's about. It's about that moment alone in a vacuum, and the way it made people feel when he chucked that right down the center, it's not only to me the greatest ceremonial first pitch, it might be the greatest sporting moment involving a non-athlete in sports history. Meant so much, and I still get chills whenever the anniversary happens and it pops up.
See, the question said favorite, so I'm just going to go with Bill Murray chucking the ball into the crowd, like way over the catcher's head on purpose.
Okay, well, that one too. All right, we'll take a break. I mean, if you want to change the question at some point to most entertaining or funniest, yeah, 50 Cent's going to be on that list.
I just said favorite.
What's his face? Gary, Howard Stern's producer. That was ridiculous.
And Dave chose to go heartfelt post 9/11 recovery of America. I chose to go Bill Murray chucking a ball off someone's head.
That's my favorite. All right, we will take a break. Speaking of America, let's talk about American Energy. American Energy Heating and Air. I told you about an hour ago. I'm going to tell you again because there's nothing I love more than saving you money. Up to $9,000 in rebates. By the way, of course this is happening. I should have known in the YouTube chat. We are now having an argument about 9/11 in the YouTube. Of course we're having an argument about 9/11. By the way, Ian in the chat, thank you for the compliment. Also, I agree with Zebra, just in case that they can all be true. They can all be true. By the way, if you want to get in the YouTube chat, and I highly recommend against it, just go to youtube.com, search Satown Sports, and subscribe. Get in there and say hello, especially if you're new to the show. I appreciate that. American Energy is local. They've been here since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area here in Northern California. And they are family-owned and operated. They're good people. A+ Better Business Bureau, and they will do all the paperwork to get you every penny that you can get of the up to $9,000 in rebates by switching to electric year-round. Get a better system that's more efficient, that will keep you cooler in the summer and warmer in the winter, and your monthly bills will go down, and you can get a rebate. What more? What more can I give you? Find out for yourself at 916. 916. I completely spaced on the phone number, so I just had to hum the jingle to myself. Call 916-520-9990 now. Okay, so 520-9990. That's 916. Totally had a brain cramp. 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable. Yes, I love all of you in the chat, including Campeo, including MC, including Zebra, each and every one of you. We'll take a break. Just don't like some of you. When we come back, Mike Brown next.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Satown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Satown Sports app.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Seems like all this artificial intelligence stuff stirs up the age-old debate of man versus machine. Hi, it's Dan from the Good Feet store, and let me ask you, would you let a robot cut your hair? Would you rely on an app to teach a kid to ride a two-wheeler? Let's face it, some things require the human touch. People come to us seeking a solution to foot, leg, and back pain after trying all kinds of things recommended by in-store machines or website blurbs. An impersonal, generic approach to solving a problem that's unique to you. No wonder they usually don't work. At the Good Feet store, you'll meet with an arch support specialist who will take the time to learn about your needs, your feet, your lifestyle, and then fit you from over 300 models and sizes of arch supports, designed for pain relief, better balance, and more comfort.
Do you have sore feet, an aching back, or plantar fasciitis? Then get to the Good Feet store nearest you for your free arch support fitting. Good Feet arch supports are only available at the Good Feet store.
The Summer Starts Here sales event is on now through Memorial Day at your Toyota dealer. Take advantage of great deals on Toyota's entire lineup of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Right now, drive into the season of fun in a new Toyota and get low 3.99% APR financing on Highlander. Or check out great lease deals on Camry, Corolla, and RAV4. Hurry, Toyota's Summer Starts Here sales event ends soon. Toyota, let's go places. Offer available on 2024 models through TFS to buyers with premium rated credit. Excludes hybrids. N6324.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
We are fortunate in Northern California to have weather that allows us to play golf year-round. On the other hand, that's a lot of time to be exposed to the sun's harmful rays. So just remember to apply the sunscreen. Experts say that SPF 30 blocks 97% of the UVB rays that cause sunburn, and you should apply sunscreen at least every 2 hours. So put it on before you play and reapply at the turn. Apply it evenly and thoroughly. When you use a spray, don't step into the spray because you won't be putting it on evenly. We all tend to get our arms, legs, and face, but make sure you apply to your ears, neck, hands, and scalp, and don't forget the backs of your knees. And make sure you check the expiration date. Experts also say the sunscreen that works is the sunscreen that you actually are going to put on your skin. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
It's Kyle Draper here to let you know that the famous Bay Area pizza company, Amici's East Coast Pizzeria, has just opened its first location in Sacramento, offering takeout and delivery to the greater Sacramento area. To check out the menu and order online, visit amicis.com and click on the Sacramento banner. As a special deal, all this week, when you enter promo code SAC50 at checkout, they'll give you 50% off any large pizza. So when you want to enjoy half-price pizzas with family and friends this week, use promo code SAC50 at amicis.com and Amici's delivers.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Satown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then boom,
with Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Satown Sports.
Welcome back. We'll give away Brooks and Dunn's. Brooks and Dunn's. Good job, Dave. Brooks and Dunn tickets. Around 8:13. You're supposed to, in this business, we were talking about it earlier. We're supposed to give you like a specific time. That's what the consultants say. Tell them it's at 8:13 and hit that mark. We'll give away Brooks and Dunn tickets at exactly 8:13. So make sure you tune in. And my thing's like, no, I don't want to tell you exactly when to listen. I don't care. I want you to listen to all of it. I want you to listen to all of it and be rewarded. I don't want to tell you a specific time. So you set your clock for 8:12, go tune into something else, and then come back and you win the tickets. And meanwhile, all the schmoes that I love that are listening for the next hour and 13 minutes, they're like, we tried. No, I want them winning. I don't want to bribe the guy that's just going to cherry pick tickets and get out of here. I don't understand the consultants, man. I mean, have they lived their entire life studying how radio works, how to get ratings, how to do all this stuff? Have they done tons of research and made a ton of money doing it? Yes. Am I wearing a DeMarcus Cousins All-Star jersey? Yes. I think the credentials are equal. Right, Kyle?
No argument out of me, Carmichael Dave.
Thank you. Before we get to Mike Brown and the tweet heard around the hallway, let's spend some time on last night's, I don't know, game. Also want to let you know, I tuned in towards the end, and I'm doing this as much for myself as I am for all of you. But I'll give you, despite the fact that Whitey just continually says terrible things about me, I'll give Kyle Draper and Whitey a little bit of credit for their interview with Bob Kendrick yesterday. We're going to replay that at 8 in its entirety. If you don't know who Bob Kendrick is, he's the president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. Obviously was a huge part of the sounding board in getting those statistics into Major League Baseball statistics. It's interesting. It's always it's always interesting. I'm always fascinated by perspective. And, when I heard that the Negro League stats were going to be merged in with baseball stats, I was so happy and pleased that a wrong was being at least partially righted, and that Josh Gibson would, and folks like that would be honored. And it's like I felt good about that opinion, and I still do. But it's always interesting to get other people's perspectives, and also when it comes to something like the Negro Leagues. Look, I know that this is kind of a politically charged thing, and I don't think it should be. And I know that there's a lot of virtue signaling and a lot of things that'll trigger a lot of people. But let's just be honest. And always, guys, it may make me look bad, but I always try to be just honest and transparent with you. No matter how old I get, I still am a baby with a lot of things that, I try to learn about. I always have open ears. And as a white person, me commenting on things like, as a matter of fact, I talked to a friend of mine last night, and I said, is it weird that I feel a little cringy about saying the Negro Leagues just because I don't say the word? And I understand the context, and I understand the context it's in. It's just not a word I use. It's not a word we do use. But beyond that, as a Caucasian, I can only on the surface have my opinion. And I tried my best to, look at things from a kind and thoughtful point of view. I'm going to do something we're not supposed to do, but I don't care. This is too important. I want to give a lot of credit to Kenny Caraway, who is on our competing station with D-Lo. And I saw this on make it the rounds on Twitter, and Kenny had a really interesting take on it. And I hadn't thought about it before, which was, it didn't completely, and I hope I'm doing his take justice here, that it didn't completely sit right with him, because in one sense, his fear was that by merging the stats, that in some way it would make it easier to talk about for a lot of people, would make it easier to talk about the Negro Leagues and the history. And well, now a wrong has been righted and everything's good in the world. And I think his overarching point, if I understood it correctly, was I don't want it to be easier for people to talk about. I want that stain needs to be remembered in history with my children and grandchildren. And, I think he said something to the effect of maybe I'm overthinking it or I'm oversensitive about it, but there is a part of this that doesn't, and that's just a perspective I would have never thought of. And I think part of why I would have thought of it is just, I've never walked in those shoes, and I really appreciate, some things are bigger than, everything else. And I really appreciated the discourse that this has brought. There's been two things this week, Kyle, completely different things, but two things this week that I've really, terrible things that I've appreciated. Obviously, the fact that the Negro Leagues even had to exist is a terrible stain on sports and on our society. But I was very appreciative this week that a lot of names that were either forgotten or not known by younger generations were being celebrated this week. And the whole system was being brought back to light and discussed. Bill Walton passing away, obviously a terrible thing. But as I've said many times, when you celebrate a life, and as terrible as it is when somebody passes, to celebrate their life and to open up many other generations to things and people that maybe they hadn't been exposed to. There's always bright sides, but with that comes a ton of great conversation. So just as I would, compliment Kenny for kind of opening my eyes a little bit on perspective, I also want to compliment our guys, Whitey and Kyle, for just doing such a phenomenal job with bringing Mr. Kendrick on. And I want to share that with you because I think it's important. And as one, don't tell Whitey I said this, but as wonderful of a job as they do in the afternoons, they're also really good people, and they're also really, I'm talking about Kyle and Whitey, and they're also very thoughtful people. So I appreciate the perspective, and I think we can all learn from it.
While we are giving the shout outs here, I was back here after our show yesterday doing work, and Alan and Chris on the midday show started off their show with the same conversation. It was this idea of, by merging the two leagues, you're essentially removing the memory of the fact that this was baseball, Major League Baseball specifically excluding Negro Leagues players.
Right.
And they talked for 15 minutes, and it was really interesting and insightful. So if anyone's listening, the podcast is up for Styles and Watkins. Their hour one yesterday had a really good conversation about it too.
And I talk about Styles and Watkins a lot more than I talk about Whitey and Kyle, just because the timing, we cross talk with them and all that. But if I would say this, if you haven't tuned in lately, and it's something I've noticed, I know everybody has schedules, but I would really like to see more of our audience at 10 a.m. I know that the YouTube ends, for example, and you got to kind of click on a new thing, but Styles and Watkins are a newer show, and Alan is newer to the market. Chris has come up through the ranks here. But if you haven't given their show a listen, let's put it this way. My wife loves their show, and that says a lot because my wife doesn't like anything. They really do put together a really good, really thoughtful show. And as you just pointed out there too, I really enjoy a lot of their perspectives on things. And
I'm also going to shout out Alan. He's one of the smartest baseball people I know too.
Let's not go too far.
And so
let's just all calm down. Let's just all, we got to see these people in the hall. We got to see, they got to come in for crosstalk. I don't want to pump up the ego too much.
Look,
they're good.
Check out their conversation yesterday.
They're the fastest growing show in the entire country, in my opinion. That's what I heard. I see no reason to think otherwise. Kind of skipped over the whole Mike Brown stuff, didn't we? I blame you, Kyle. 3 for Madness starts. We're doing a quick double segment here. 3 for Madness starts right now.
3 questions, 3 answers. It's 3 for Madness on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Here's question 1.
All right, hey, coming up at 8. Again, we will replay that interview with Mr. Bob Kendrick. Talking about. Hold on a second. Talking about. Hold on. Did we miss a guest this morning? What time's our guy coming on? Talking about our guy. You know what? Hold on a second here. Where are we? We're having Zach Bayruti of the River Cats, the voice of the River Cats, on. And I just realized, I think, my goodness, thank God. Okay, I totally didn't put that in there because he was a last-minute ad. So coming up in 12 minutes, Zach Bayruti, the voice of the River Cats, will join us. Gosh, I just got free. This is what happens when Chris and Jason are gone. No offense to you. It just didn't come across.
No, I apologize.
It didn't come across your desk. How were you apologizing for? You had no. Look, there's plenty of things I will blame on you, Kyle, but when something doesn't come across your desk, you can't be blamed for it, right? You had no idea. No harm done. Zach will join us at 7:30, and we'll do our yearly check-in, maybe a couple times a year, on all things River Kittens. In the meantime, 3 for Madness. Question 1, please.
Oh, my gosh, it's Mike Brown related? Wow.
Hey, what do you know?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you about the whole Mike Brown contract thing?
I'm worried. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, oh my God, I'm super worried, and 1 being, I would say I'm at like a 4, but I want to clarify. About 3 of that 4 in there is not, I think they're going to not come to a deal. I think they are going to come to a deal. I think it's going to be sooner rather than later. I could be terribly wrong on this, but I'm going to stick to the same guns and what I'm hearing. I think they're closer than people think, and I think both sides want to get this done and out of the way. What puts it at a 4 instead of a 1 or 2 for me is kind of what I talked about earlier. I am worried when negotiations go public, it never ends well. I'm worried about these things can blow up. It could turn into a, you know what? Screw it. I don't want your contract. I'm going to go ahead and do the last year. And I'll tell you what, at the end of next year, let's go for it. I'm either leaving or you're paying me $10 million, nothing. I'm going to ask for $15 million. If you don't like it, screw you. I'll go get it somewhere else. And you guys can go back to having 5 coaches a year. I don't know. That's what worries me is any sort of, even if they do come to a deal, residual issues could be there. So a 4, but every day this goes on, it goes up about 0.3 of a point. Number 2, please.
Question 2.
What if Mike Brown just goes ahead and leaves the negotiating table?
That's kind of what I'm worried about, is that at some point they say that the tweet I don't want to see is that both sides have agreed to table talks until the end of next season. If you see that tweet, that's when it's Panic in River City time. I don't want to see that any way, shape, or form. Look, the NBA season is still happening. We're not even into the off season yet. As I've said all week, I think all the top negotiators are now on this thing. I know it's a priority. It's something that maybe they could have just kept quiet on and snuck this thing in quietly through the summer, which is how it should have been. And someday I want to get to the bottom as to why this whole thing went public. How that happened, whose decision it was, why would you do that? It's just so damn unnecessary. And again, a lot of times things like this end up spiraling a little bit out of control. You know how, like, sometimes you'll hear things like, oh, there's rumors that this player might not be happy here, but who knows? It's a rumor. And then it builds and builds and builds. And what do you know? Next thing you know, the player's traded or the coach is fired or the this or the that. Get it done. Get it done. Get it out of the way. And everybody hold hands and sing Kumbaya and let's go. Cut number 3.
Question 3.
Cut number 3. Who has the leverage here? The Sacramento Kings or Mike Brown?
I think Mike Brown has all the leverage. I really do. You win the crowd, gladiator style. You win the crowd. You win. What did he say? You win the crowd. You win your freedom. Well, in this case, Mike Brown has won the crowd and should win his contract. I think the public, not just Kings fans, are overwhelmingly in favor of Mike Brown and getting this done, but also this is really where it hits him, is when your national folks start weighing in. I think he has all of the leverage. And I want to reiterate here what I said earlier. Don't just automatically lap up that Shams Charania's tweet saying it was a competitive offer came from the Kings. I'll ask you again the same thing I asked earlier. Doesn't that seem a little too incredibly obvious for Shams Charania to voluntarily editorialize like that? He's not going to do that on his own. The source is going to ask him to do that. Shams is a great journalist. He's not going to make the decision as to whether or not it's competitive. That's going to come directly from the source. And wouldn't the source know, for example, if it was the Kings, that would signal that they were leaking it And on top of that, that it would start a firestorm of people saying, are you that stupid? Which is why I am 95% sure that the Shams Charania tweet was leaked, not by the Kings, and most likely by Mike Brown's agent and or somebody in Mike Brown's camp to further win the leverage war, which they are 100% doing. I find it just, it's too easy. And I'm not Conspiracy Joe here. You guys know that. That's half the reason MC and I always go at it on the chat. But this is one of those where it's just like, dude, it's too obvious. Way too obvious. And if you're Warren LeGarry, his agent, or you're somebody in his camp, it's the perfect chess move. Hey, Shams, I want you to put this out there. I want to put these details out there that are obviously less than what Ty Lue got announced at yesterday. And I want you to say it's competitive. Do me a favor, say it's a competitive offer. That's going to piss everybody off. And they're all going to think the Kings are putting that out there. And that's what happened, and that's what everybody's thinking. And I'm telling you, I think you're being duped. I think you're being duped. I don't think it was the Kings that put that out there. I do not think it was the Kings that put that out there. It's way, way, way too simple. We'll take a break. When we come back, the voice of the River Cats, Zach Bayruti, will join us. Also, we got to get to Celtics Mavs. We've got a team announced for Hard Knocks. We've got a new Netflix docuseries in sports. We got a lot to get to before 8 o'clock, and our replay of Mr. Bob Kendrick, as heard with Kyle and Whitey yesterday. So we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with the voice of the River Cats, Zach Bayruti, next.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Satown Sports and the Satown Sports app.
We all have some things from the past that we might regret, or better yet, might like to get rid of. I'm talking about that mistake you made years ago that still may be haunting you. How great would it be if that could be expunged and gone? Poof! Just like that. But where do you go for something like that? Try the Gonzalez Law Offices. Jonathan Gonzalez is right here in downtown Sacramento, and he's here for you. Maybe you need someone for wrongful termination. Again, the Gonzalez Law Offices. Go to saclegaldefense.com or call them at 916-304-9187.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
My father was a career United States Air Force pilot, and Memorial Day is a reminder of all he and so many others did for our country. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Right now at the annual Memorial Day sale, everything in the store is on sale. Everything. You'll save 10 to 25% on all living rooms, to sofas, to sectionals, to dining rooms, to bedrooms, to home offices, and so much more. Everything is on sale right now at Naturewood Home Furnishings Memorial Day sale. Whether you're looking to lighten the mood in your living room, brighten up your bedroom, or tighten up your home office, it's all available for you at savings from 10 to 25% at Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop the area's best selection of quality furniture at Naturewood Home Furnishing, off Highway 50 in Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
It's the River Cats Report. What's going on with the Giants AAA squad? The River Cats Report.
Normally this time of day, Jason would give you kind of an update on all things River Cats. Well, we're going to go a step further. It's our first real check-in this year. And joining us right now, Johnny forever was our go-to. Johnny Doskow is now with the big club, and I like to see that, whether you're a Giants or Rays affiliate. It's the whole point of AAA is getting promoted. So now our next big A prospect, if you will, joining us right now, and I do believe that media and voices can be prospects, just like players can. Zach Bayruti joins us, the voice of the River Cats. Good morning, Zach. It's Dave. How are you?
Good morning, Dave. I'm great, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. And look, we're supposed to talk about we're not supposed to talk about anything. We can talk about whatever we want, but there are definitely some things River Cat itself, roster-wise, guys in the big leagues doing well, I want to cover with you. But, we've never talked here before, and just want to see how you're settling in and how fun is it? How fun is it, as I ask a leading question, to get paid to travel around in the minor leagues where the players still care, the fans aren't jaded, the baseball is still pure, and be able to look outside at a beautiful view and talk baseball all day?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. I don't take it for granted. I've done it for a long time now, and before it was planes, it was buses. I was in Stockton for 14 years with the Stockton Ports, so. It was buses for a while and smaller ballparks, and now it's flights and bigger ballparks. But no matter the venue, I never take for granted going to the ballpark every day and getting to know the guys. I mean, especially this fun group of River Cats guys we've had the last couple of years who are now doing things with the Giants. Like it's pretty cool to see them grow and then to see them succeed at the next level.
And it really is such a difference. Look, everybody wants to get to the show. The money's better. The play is better. We all get that. But there's something just so special about the minor leagues, whether it's the G League in basketball, over in soccer, they have your lower divisions, and same thing with AAA and below, where the players are still wide-eyed. There's far less attitude, the entitlement. Everybody's so humble, and it's almost like it's actually a traveling circus, if you will. Everybody packs up, goes on the road. I'm sure you've made some wonderful friends, both player-wise and, of course, within the organization. So it is kind of a romantic baseball feel to it, isn't it?
It is, and that's really the best part. And I was actually reflecting on this last night. I went after the game and then caught up a little bit at a restaurant with Mike Curto, who's a longtime voice of the Tacoma Rainiers, and we've got to know each other real well. And it's those relationships that you develop along the way, like with the players when you're at the ballpark, and then with people that make things happen outside the ballpark. And I can't tell you how many of my closest friends now are just in the game. I do college hoops too, so baseball and basketball. I just have like a litany of amazing people in my life. And it's because I'm fortunate enough to do this. So like those relationships really make it worthwhile. And like you were talking about guys being wide-eyed. I remember last year we got to Round Rock, and it was Kai-Wei Tang making his AAA debut with us. And I remember him being in the outfield and just around Del Diamond and Round Rock, if you've never been, is an awesome place. And he was probably coming from AA and, not great places, maybe some cool ones, but nothing like Round Rock, so he's out there taking pictures of the field and thinking, man, like I've been here before, and like how lucky that, I'm kind of used to this, and here's this kid coming up who's taken by it, and it was pretty neat.
Zach Bayruti, voice of the River Cats, joining us. You kind of leaned into my next question because I know you do basketball, and I'm always fascinated as the audience is rolling their eyes right now because I can't ever stop talking about play-by-play voices. I am a fan of play-by-play voices, like a lot of people are of athletes. It's a superhero thing that I wish I could do. I can't. It's a special talent, and I know in basketball, it's quicker paced. You got to call the action. There's a lot more action. There's a lot more stuff going on at once, and I think most would think that's the harder one. However, Zach, as you well know, baseball, there's a lot of downtime. It's mostly downtime. You've got to fill, especially when you're calling radio and not TV. Is there one that stands out as a little more difficult than the other?
I've always said, like, if you can call a baseball game, you can call pretty much anything because of what you just said, Dave, like the downtime and, the having to fill gaps here and there. So I tell people the analogy I make is calling hoops is like cooking a ribeye. Like the ingredients are there, you just don't screw it up, right? Like you throw some salt and pepper on it, some Montreal maybe, and throw it on the grill and just don't burn it, and calling baseball is like making street tacos. Like sometimes you're dealing with a lesser cut of meat, but there's more artistry involved, and you gotta dress it up a little bit more to make it work. And so that's kind of the analogy I use, but I love both. And I love the fact that I get the contrast. Every year I have, baseball over here and hoops over here. And I think overall, hopefully it helps me grow.
If you can call baseball, you can call anything except for hockey though, right? Hockey's its own animal, isn't it?
I've always wanted, it's the only major sport I haven't done, and I've always wanted the challenge of it. I'm a hockey fan.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of the way I unplug during the baseball off season. Like I do hoops, but hoops is only a couple days a week. So at night, I love just like when the kids go to bed, sitting and appreciating hockey play by play. And I've always wanted to give it a shot. So hopefully one day, someone needs to fill in. I don't know if I'd want to do it full time, but I'd love the challenge of it for sure.
Zach Bayrudy joining us. Let's talk River Cats. And by the way, if you ever do that, send us a tape, please, because that's
I don't know. I'll have to screen it first. If it's good enough.
Let's talk about some River Kitties doing well with the big club. Luis Matos doing well as a Giant. Brett Wisely as well. The Pacific Coast League Player of the Year last week when he was down with the River Cats as well. So we're seeing some benefits from the kiddos.
We are, and it's been an interesting couple of years of development for the Giants' organizational players. I mean, you talk about guys last year that had to go up out of necessity, and guys that maybe had their growth stunted at the time. And Matos comes to mind. I think he was with us for like 14 games last year from AA before he got called up, and like Marco Luciano was here for a handful of games before he got called up, and Wade Meckler the same. And I don't know if there was a different philosophy overall because you had, obviously, Gabe Kapler was in the mix and, part of running the organization. But, the organizational depth got better this past offseason. Obviously, they signed Chapman and they signed Snell, and that kept a couple of young pitchers in Sacramento for a little bit longer. So I think there's something to guys being in AAA and being able to develop at this level. And it's kind of a new development in baseball where people maybe just poo-poo the AAA level a little bit because they feel like it's like this holding place, but there's actual development that goes on at this level, especially for guys on the way up. I mean, for the first time, some of these guys are facing actual major league hitters. If you're a pitcher, like you're facing guys that have played not only in the big leagues, but overseas all over the world. So you really have to be on it, and hit your spots as a pitcher. And as a hitter, you're facing pitchers who've done the same thing. I mean, these guys are literally the best of the best. I mentioned Mike Curto, my colleague with Tacoma. We were talking about the fine line between AAA and Major League Baseball. And like, we literally every night watch the best players in the world. And there's like a little bit of difference when you go to the big leagues, but that little bit of difference just means everything. And so I think guys being able to develop at this level, like Matos and Luciano and Meckler, and especially Wisely. I mean, Wisely's a guy that's jumped off the page in the big leagues last year, and he's made adjustments specifically this year in Sacramento that's helped him do that. So it's been great to watch the development, and I think development is necessary for these guys.
Went back to back with Tacoma, back home now. It's luau night tonight, by the way. Get out to the ballpark. I'm sure most of us have, most of you've been out to that park forever. It's just such a wonderful place if you love the romance of baseball. And by the way, to kind of back up Zach's point, I want to make it sound like it's a bunch of high schoolers out there. Like, it is top level baseball. It's AAA.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just more intimate. I'm a Giants fan. I obviously love watching the big clubs play, but there's something romantic. There's something Bull Durham-y about watching games out at that park. And I'll finish up here. And this is kind of a lava pit question, Zach. I'm not trying to get you in trouble here. I don't know why I do know why it's become so charged, but I just want to ask you, just as a fan of the sport and someone involved, when you heard about the River Cats and A's split in time starting next year, I mean, there's a lot of people that have a lot of opinions on it. We get that. But just from your perspective, it's got to be pretty exciting that you'll all be rubbing elbows and sharing stuff. And there'll be even more excitement around that building beyond what there already is next year.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'll start by saying, like, I told you I was in Stockton for 14 years. At the time they were the high A A's affiliate. So I have very deep A's connections, and I first and foremost feel for the fans in Oakland. I mean, I can't imagine, having your team move on you, that's a tough deal. But I think maybe the silver lining here is that they are for however long, going to stay in Northern California and get to play at Sutter Health Park. And I think, the not only the ballpark, which is going to be, they're going to have some pretty good improvements to get the A's, in there and comfortable. But I think the infrastructure is there in the community to support Major League Baseball. And I think, even just based on the numbers we're seeing with ticket sales and people trying to get on lists to get tickets, I mean, it's going to be unbelievable in a 14,000 seat stadium to be able to watch Major League Baseball. And there is going to be an element of charm to it because, you have, like, the clubhouses aren't attached to the dugout, like you're going to see guys walking across the field after the game, and it's just going to be a throwback. And I think, everybody in Sacramento should be excited about it. I hope A's fans, at least embrace having the A's still in Northern California for however long that is. And I hope Sacramento embraces the opportunity to be on the big stage. It's going to be a big stage in a little ballpark, which is kind of a neat juxtaposition. And I'm excited to see how it all plays out.
Big stage on a littler stage. I love that. Intimate and fun. That's the voice of the River Cats, Zach Bay-Rudy. By the way, go to rivercats.com, grab your tickets, check out the schedule. I'm looking at it right now. I told you tonight's luau night. You got Dino night tomorrow, Sunday fun day on Sunday as they finish up against the hated Tacoma Rainiers. I don't know if they're hated, but let's create a rivalry.
Regional rivals.
There you go. There you go. Big time regional rivals. Zach, don't be a stranger. Congratulations. I know it's been a year plus, but congratulations and good to see hard work paid off. I love your work and I appreciate you. And hopefully you'll join us later on in the season to give us more of an update.
Dave, anytime, man. Anytime you want to come out and hang in the booth and kick it, please do. Anytime.
Oh, you said that. Look, you say that. And then
I mean it. I only say what I mean.
I grew up with Derek Lee, so Leon Lee, who, as you know, is a big part of the broadcast there forever. And he invited me once, and I was just way too intimidated. I'm still incredibly intimidated by it, but I may have to take you up on that. I'd love to see you work, dude.
Please do, man. Please do. Would love to have you.
All right, brother. Take care. Have a great call tonight. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Dave.
See ya. Bye. That's Zach Bay-Rudy. Great guy. And, yeah, man, go out there. Go out there and watch the Masters at work. I really do. I really am fascinated by play-by-play. Everyone knows that, but just the prep, everything that goes into it, there's just something romantic. I wish I had that club in my bag. I do. I would, if you gave me a choice between being a good talk show host, which I'm not, but that's my job, or being a good play-by-play guy and being able to write, I would take play-by. I love what I'm doing. But God, I'd love to do play-by-play.
I would love to do play-by-play too. Obviously, there's still time for me to work on the craft and things like that, but I would love to be a play-by-play person. I've also been stuck on the last 3 minutes on Dino Night.
Dino Night!
Yeah, Dino Night is just sounds amazing. I want to know more about this. Why is it Dino Night? What does Dino Night entail? Is it just going to be fans running around in those giant inflatable T-Rex costumes all night? I'm Dino Night has piqued my interest for 3 minutes.
I don't like that you had to throw in there's still time for you, because that implied that like there's not time for me.
Do you want to?
I think if you said you have to call one sport, I think I'd be best at baseball because it's slower moving and because I have a very good ability. One thing I can do is fill time with endless, pointless stories. Basketball's too quick. Hockey's too quick. Football's too intricate.
How do you feel about soccer? I know your son plays.
I actually used to. I was, for the first 4 years of the River Cats, I was their analyst along with Scott Marsh and a couple different partners that did play-by-play.
Are you saying Sac Republic?
Huh?
You mean Sac Republic?
Yeah, what'd I say?
You said River Cats.
Oh, I'm sorry, for Sac Republic. Thank you. Sorry. Including their championship year. That's why I got the ring. It's because the media guys got a ring. Except Scott didn't. He's still sore about that, but he's got other rings. I don't know. I probably could do now. I could probably do play-by-play for soccer. That I probably could do. I understand the game a lot better now than I used to, and I understand it, but I understand it at a much deeper level. But I would give baseball a try. Mark Dembski used to be Fox 40 reporter. He taught a play-by-play class for a while. I actually attended it about 10 years ago, and baseball was the sport. Hey, 2-1 the count and the pitch. See, boom. That's it. Home run. Woo.
I liked his metaphor about baseball is like a street taco where there's less meat that you're working with, but you have to kind of weave it into a fine tapestry or something like that.
All right. Speaking of less meat to work with, we'll take a break. When we come back, remember, Mr. Bob Kendrick, the president of the Negro Leagues Museum, I believe that's out in Kansas City. He joined Kyle Draper and Whitey Gleason yesterday. I heard the tail end of it again. I want to replay it. I've heard nothing but great things. I want to be able to hear that. We'll do that in 15 minutes. When we come back, we've got a new Hard Knocks team and a new Netflix docu-series and a few other things to go over as well. We'll get to that next.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Satown Sports has you covered.
San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Satown Sports and SatownSports.com.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Not to brag, but Progressive's Name Your Price tool is mankind's greatest tool ever. Even better than the wheel. Sure, without the wheel, we wouldn't have modern transportation or funny videos of dogs riding skateboards. But without the Name Your Price tool, we wouldn't have easy access to auto insurance options based on our budget. And, well, cars do need wheels. They also need insurance, and insurance never goes flat. Learn more about the greatest tool ever, the Name Your Price tool at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
What is Subcontractors United? It's a list of 3 pre-qualified and licensed contractors in over 40 trades to help with your home project needs. From cabinets to heating and air to landscapers and everything in between, Subcontractors United makes finding qualified contractors free and easy with no accounts to set up. Visit subcontractorsunited.com today and experience the joy of stress-free home improvement. Save time and money at subcontractorsunited.com.
The Golf to Go radio show goes to William Land Golf Course to celebrate its 100th birthday. Join Frank LaRosa and me, Scott Marsh, for a live broadcast Thursday, June 6th from 6 to 7 for all the fun. We'll have great guests, a putting contest, prizes including free golf, free apparel, and much, much more. So make sure to join us Thursday, June 6th from 6 to 7 at William Land Golf Course. We'll see you there.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave inviting you to make the switch to electric this spring and save big with American Energy. Stay ahead of those spiking energy bills this summer with up to $9,000 in rebates on a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. American Energy is providing huge rebates from SMUD as well as spring specials by installing one of many incredibly efficient AC options available to you right now. Get rid of those fluctuating gas bills in the winter and switch to year-round all-electric with American Energy. Let them perform a free in-home energy efficiency analysis and see where they can help you save for the warmer months ahead. These guys are the best. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ from the Better Business Bureau. Learn more by calling 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
The point. Jason Ross.
Nope, that's
a
it.
lot of pretty smart things to say. He's good at what he does.
On Satown Sports.
You can text us at 916-339-1140 from the 916. There's no way Dave could do something uninterrupted for 3 hours live calling play-by-play without hopping on Twitter and posting something. I mean, look, when you're right, you're right. That's it. I'd probably have a live stream set up or something. That's exactly what it would be. That person has an excellent point. All right. Brown steps in. Batting .334 in his last 5 games. He looks in. Sorba winds the 1-2. And I got to tell you, MC said something earlier today, and then I just start arguing on the chat. I'd be yelling at a guy like MC, oh, high fly ball. And that's gone. I'd be the guy that, makes up the call later. It happened 20 seconds ago. I'm just catching up.
What's the over-under on times that you say, I saw this earlier on Twitter?
Yeah.
During a single broadcast.
Welcome back, everybody. Giants leading the Yankees 3-2 and a beautiful day here at the park. I saw this thing earlier about the band Boston. Yeah, that's true. Well, we can all dream, and then those dreams get crushed. I'm looking at this right now. See, this is why I couldn't do it. Dramatic finish to the spelling bee. What?
It went to a spell off.
Well, that's happened before, though, hasn't it?
I think once or twice. They used to just end it in a giant tie where 14 people would win, but then they
That's
said,
dumb.
No, we got to do a spell off.
Keep spelling until somebody drops. Yeah, they get it wrong or they collapse in exhaustion. I was a spelling bee kid. I was. I got as far as state once.
That's pretty impressive.
It is. I'm not gonna lie. I won the school bee in 4th grade. Choked in 5th grade on symbol. Said the wrong one. Won in 6th. Won the tri-school. Won district. 2nd in county. Top 5 get to state. Got beat by Raga Ramachandran. I'll never forget it. Missed on vacuum. What an ass.
2 C's or 2 U's?
It was it's 2 U. I put 2 C's in. I'm studying all these other words. The whole spelling bee racket, man, that's a thing. The studying, just going straight out the dictionary. There's books with all the words that have been used. But let me tell you something. We said Zach Beirudi on talking about the difference between how it's a subtle difference, but a difference between AAA and major leagues. The difference between the state and national B is night and day. I watch these spelling bees now. I'm like, nope, no chance.
It's like the people who make the jump from high school sports to college sports. It's like everyone there was you in high school.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. So, anyways, back to sports. Although spelling bee is kind of a sport.
Spelling bees on ESPN.
The Chicago Bears have been announced as the Hard Knocks 2024 team. Caleb Williams, number 1 pick. Keenan Allen, amongst others. Jason wrote this segment, and he asked a question in there. Is it a good? 2 questions. Number 1, is that a good choice? Yeah, I mean, look, you got the number 1 pick in the draft. You got a historic tentpole NFL team in the Chicago Bears that have not been doing great as of late. I'm not entirely sure about their front office and coaching staff. You got a team that's trying to compete. So there's enough drama there. The second question is, do you care about Hard Knocks anymore? I've said this many times. I am an unabashed Hard Knocks lover. I love it. I love Liev Schreiber. I think he's such an amazing narrator and actor. And when I hear his voice and I hear that hard notes, when I hear that music, it is to me, it is the opening. It is, as much as I can't stand summertime when it comes to sports talk radio and the lack of content. When I see that, when I first start to see the ads for Hard Knocks, I get butterflies. When the first episode debuts and I sit down and I watch it, I know that we are on the downslope. The light is at the end of the tunnel. I can see it. Pretty soon, all the camps are now open. Pretty soon we're going to be having fantasy football drafts. Before you know it, the 37th straight 105-degree day is going to be over. The air will be crisp. Fall will be in the air. The leaves will fall as well. That's why they call it fall, I think. And there will be the smells of some sort of animal on my grill at 10 a.m., just getting ready for the day. The best time of the year, football talk, bringing back 4-down territory, talking about the Niners trying to figure out a Super Bowl again. The Raider fans, Raider fanning, hoping that their team will hit 500.
This year, the longest playoff drought. Or I'm sorry, the second longest drought without winning a playoff game.
Is who?
The Raiders.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, now that the Lions got it done.
I feel for Raider fan, man. Every year they're like, Raiders.
Okay, I was hoping that you would say yes to that question.
Oh, yes.
I'm in the opposite camp.
Good morning, Steven.
Good morning. I hope it's not too windy. I'm walking to work right now, so
that's fine.
You know how it goes.
We deal with Sam Amick walking around. We can deal with you for a couple of minutes. What's going on?
That's okay, man. Yeah. Good morning. You sell yourself way too short sometimes, man, and I really have to address it.
Okay.
Because we talked about this the last time when I at the field house or whatever it was.
Yeah, Conseco Field House.
So we'll go with that.
Yeah.
So the one thing I'm going to put out in the public and put out into the ethos that I feel like everyone should understand about you, and basically what I like about your show the most, is the fact that you're human. You're not robotic. You are scripted to a point, but you run the segments long because why not? It's Friday and you're talking about a freaking kitchen gadget of some sort. You know what I'm saying? Your show is so freaking fun. You are a fun individual, and I don't think that you should ever sell yourself short, because I think personally, I'm not trying to fill your gas tank up or anything like that. There's no benefits to this, I benefit at all, not at all in this compliment here. But you sell yourself way too short, Dave. You are freaking fantastic, dude. And I really feel like it just needs to be said, man. You run a great show. You run a tight ship, but then you loosen it up and you release the reins every once in a while, and you'll talk. You'll just kind of run along about, I don't know, hair lengths in baseball for something. I don't know, man. Don't sell yourself short, David. You're freaking fantastic, man. And I absolutely will tune into your show every day, man. So, you know what? I'm gonna fill your gas tank up this morning a little bit. So, you enjoy your day, man. I appreciate you giving me the floor, David.
And cut. All right, so let's just run. I want that sent to me and send it to my parents.
I think about 58% of what he said was true.
I'd go with 41. Thank you, Steven. That's very, very nice of you. Also, you ever want to see me squirm, do that. That's very sweet, Steven. And we appreciate you listening each and every day. And I'll wear that compliment until later when I look at myself in this uniform, in this jersey, and realize how fat I've gotten. But self-deprecation's the key, Steven. Look, we're all imperfect, and I will forever not like what I see in the mirror at times, but damn it, we're all lucky to be. You know what? We're all lucky to be here, and good Lord willing, as this dysfunctional family that we have, we're just here to help the ball club and get through 4 hours. Whether it's Chris and Jason, or in this case, young Kyle, we'll get there. And speaking of me being an amazing host, I'm going to spend the next 22 minutes listening and not working. I'll let Kyle Draper and Whitey Gleason do the heavy lifting, as they spoke yesterday with the head of the Negro Leagues Museum, Mr. Bob Kendrick. And like I said earlier, I heard the tail end of this. I heard a lot of really good feedback. It's something that we've talked about, the merging of the statistics this week. We've talked about it a few times, and you're not going to get a better perspective than Mr. Kendrick's. You're just not. You can hear me yammer about it, or Jason, no disrespect, but that ain't Mr. Kendrick. So we'll take a break. We'll come back, and we will we'll give the salute to Kyle and Whitey for doing the legwork on this, and also make sure you tune into them as well as Styles and Watkins throughout the day with the wonderful content they're providing. We'll rerun Mr. Bob Kendrick next.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Are you stressing about your IRS tax problems? Have you received notices from the IRS threatening to garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, or seize your property? You need an ally. Allies Tax Relief has tax attorneys and enrolled agents that are ready to fight for you. They have saved millions for taxpayers just like you. Allies Tax Relief can help put a stop to IRS collections and, most importantly, negotiate your tax debt. Here's Brenda, a happy client of Allies Tax Relief.
I owed the IRS around $57,000, and they're about to start garnishing my paychecks. I heard a commercial on the radio about Allies Tax Relief, so I thought I'd give them a call. After a day, they were able to at least stop the garnishments, and after a few months of negotiations, I walked away owing the IRS only $301.
If you owe the IRS, call Allies Tax Relief right now for your free consultation. Call 800-230-5174. 800-230-5174. That's 800-230-5174.
Whitey here, reminding you that not all gas grills are created equal. Bring out all the delicious flavors in your grilled meats with the amazing Napoleon Prestige and Prestige Pro line of outdoor cookers. My Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill has turned me into a grilling pro with features other grills cannot match. They're built different, built better, built to last. Made with premium stainless steel that boasts quality and a lifetime warranty. I may never want to cook indoors again. Napoleon grills and accessories are now available at your nearby Amy's, Ace Hardware in Sacramento, and now El Dorado.
Welcome to the May Springtime Sales Event at Kia Vacaville, where we're celebrating the arrival of a new season with unbeatable lease options on our 2024 lineup. As May blossoms with possibilities, it's the perfect time to immerse yourself in the exhilarating world of Kia, highlighted by the luxurious and versatile Kia Telluride. Throughout the May Springtime Sales Event, Kia Vacaville is thrilled to showcase our top models with irresistible lease offers. Experience the thrill of driving the all-new Kia Sportage, seamlessly blending captivating design with dynamic performance. Dive into the impressive fuel efficiency of the Kia Niro, a hybrid marvel designed to extend your adventures. Embrace the essence of spring with our eco-friendly Kia hybrid options, specifically tailored for those who prioritize efficiency without compromising on style. With the EV9 in stock, Kia Vacaville stands as your premier destination for electric excitement. Model availability, lease options, and features may vary. Please visit Kia Vacaville for more details.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Satown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with
Negro League Baseball Museum, the president of the museum, Bob Kendrick. Bob, thanks so much for your time. Understand you're in San Francisco. You got something going on with the Giants tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, no, I just made it into town after a whirlwind day yesterday after the news of the official release of the stats from the Negro Leagues being entered into the record books for Major League Baseball. And, of course, that was explosive. I mean, I ran my mouth, guys, from 5 a.m. yesterday until I finally shut it down about 10 o'clock last night. And then when I got here in San Francisco, I've been running my mouth some more. But I tell you what, I couldn't be more excited by the excitement that others have had about the news and seeing these Negro League players take their rightful place amongst the other greats of the game.
Bob,
this was a long time coming.
Yeah, pardon me, sir. I apologize, but I just was wondering, for those who aren't that familiar, what is the mission of the museum, Bob?
We started this museum in a little one-room office in 1990 to preserve, celebrate, educate people about the rich history of Black baseball and its profound impact on the social advancement of America. And quite frankly, guys, it's that latter statement that grabs the hearts, the minds, the imaginations now of the thousands of people each and every year that come to visit us. I do believe the work that we've done now over the last 3 decades plus, that people come to the Negro League Baseball Museum expecting to meet some pretty good baseball players. And of course, you're going to leave not being disappointed. You're going to meet some of the greatest athletes that ever put on a baseball uniform. But by the time you walk away from this story, I do believe that you walk away with a much deeper for this country. And it changed the game, but it changed this country for the better. And that's all embodied in the story that we now tell and bring to light there at the Negro League Baseball Museum in Kansas City.
Hey, Bob, can you take us behind the scenes if how did this all come about, and, how did we finally get this day to happen? How much hard work and how much lobbying did it take?
Oddly enough, it didn't take a lot of lobbying, because this was the brainchild, really, of Major League Baseball, spurred on by Commissioner Rob Manfred. In December 2020, you may recall, while we're in the midst of pandemic, and there was some social unrest going on because of the murder of and we already knew it to be a major league, but it had never been acknowledged that way by baseball, going back to a 1969 commission that acknowledged all these other rinky-dink leagues, but basically dismissed the Negro League. And on top of that, he added this notion of bringing the stats from the Negro Leagues and rolling them into the record books of Major League Baseball. 3 years of very dedicated, diligent work by, I call, a dream team of Negro League historians and researchers basically got us to this point where that quantitative data was finally brought to the public yesterday. And it's still an ongoing effort. We're about 75% complete. And I'm hoping, you'll see that the time frame essentially is from 1920 to 1948. So at the very beginning of the Negro Leagues, and then a year after integration. My hope is that we'll be able to eventually add the stats up to about 1955, because by 1948, there was really only about 6 Black players in the Major League. So there was still some substantial talent that was there playing in the Negro Leagues, and it'd be great to be able to include them in this mix as well. But man, what a historic date, I would say a milestone moment for not just the Negro Leagues, but baseball history, and you might even say American history.
Yeah, absolutely. Bob Kendrick with his president, Negro League Baseball Museum. One of the things that just seems appropriate to me, Bob, with the statistics now being recognized, is that the highest career batting average, it's no longer Ty Cobb at 367, of course, Josh Gibson at 372. And my hope is that so many baseball, I was aware of the name Josh Gibson. I vaguely knew who he was, but now he's like, he had the highest average, in baseball history. How significant is this going to be with players and fans all over the country learning about some of these players anew?
Well, and that's what you hope comes out of this. The stats are one thing, but guys, you can never reduce the Negro Leagues to just statistics. It is far more grandiose than that. But for that baseball fan who needed quantitative data, they got it now.
Yeah.
But you're right. I hope that it is now that gateway into a deeper desire to learn about these players. Because as I've been saying throughout the last 2 days, we carry a wonderful poster inside the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum that was created some years ago by a Richmond, Virginia advertising agency. And the poster so beautifully summarizes what we saw yesterday. And it says, just because they weren't in the same league as Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb doesn't mean that they weren't in the same league as Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb. And I think that's what we're seeing. So as a baseball fan, if you're a true fan of the game and you see the name Josh Gibson, or you see the name Norman Turkish Stearns, or Oscar Charleston, or Chino Smith, Artie Wilson, I would want to learn more about who they are. And that's what I'm hoping that really comes out of this. And of course, that's where the Negro League Baseball Museum comes into play. We are the place where you can learn this rich history both on and off the field. And as I remind people, the off-the-field aspect of what the Negro Leagues represented in this country, in my own humble opinion, is far more substantial than what took place on the field, because for us, it's a given that when you walk through those doors, you're going to meet some of the greatest athletes ever put on a baseball uniform.
Good stuff. Bob, I was going to ask you, and you sort of addressed it with your last comment right there, how do we still also maintain the, what's the word I'm looking for, the sort of separation of the Negro Leagues, that it was a special place and not get it swallowed up by MLB minutia, if you will?
Well, I mean, and you raise a very valid point, and I think it speaks to why the Negro Leagues Museum, in my eyes, becomes even more important, because you are absolutely right. 10, 15, 20 years from now, a new baseball fan will look at those numbers and they will see these players listed, and there's a likelihood that they will think that they were alongside them all the time. And it's important that they understand that once upon a time, Josh Gibson couldn't play in the major league. He never had that opportunity. And that it was the Negro League that became his sanctuary. And so you don't want to lose what created this kind of barrier from Major League Baseball. That is very important from a historical perspective that I think helps people understand the passion that these athletes had for the game that ultimately changed the game. And in their own way, what we saw yesterday, they're still changing the game. But it's important that we create and maintain what the true essence of what created a Negro League and how this story emerged from the ugliness of American segregation to build this thriving baseball business enterprise that just happened to give a playing ground for some of the best black and brown athletes, again, to ever play this game.
Yeah. Bob Kendrick is with us, president, Negro League Baseball Museum. I mentioned this yesterday, Bob. One of the facts about, baseball segregation that it's hard for me to believe is that the Boston Red Sox did not have an African-American player until 1959. And I know that was a long time ago, but in a sense, that wasn't that long ago where the Red Sox had not had any African-American players. It's absolutely stunning to me. But I wanted to ask you about a player, if I may. We've all taught about the Jackie Robinson story. It's a great story, how Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier, so to speak. But I've, in my research, come across a player named Moses Fleetwood Walker, who played many years before Jackie. Was Moses Walker actually the first African-American Major League Baseball player?
We kind of characterize him as the first known black to play on what would be considered a major league. Now, since that time, we've discovered that there was a ball player by the name of William Edward White, who played one game prior to Moses Fleetwood Walker. But fellas, here's the caveat. And this is why there has to be a dramatic TV series done on Negro League.
Yes.
William Edward White didn't know he was black. He thought he was white.
Oh my
goodness. He identified as white. His father was white. And it was later discovered that he was the byproduct of an affair that his father had with one of the slaves, thus making him black and the novelty of him being the first. But Moses Fleetwood Walker was of darker skin. There was no denying his ethnicity, and Moses Fleetwood Walker was a barehanded catcher.
Oh my!
Ouch! Yeah, as I tell my guests at the museum, didn't last long before he was essentially exiled from Major League Baseball through a gentleman's agreement.
Wow.
Led by guys like Cap Anson and others that essentially said, if you allow a black to play with you, you can't play with us. That would be in place for the next 6 decades until Jackie Robinson rebreaks the color barrier. So there was no written doctrine that kept black players out. It was just a verbalized agreement that the owners and players adhered to for over 60 years.
That's good stuff, Bob. So we got the Negro League Museum in Kansas City. Tell me about that. Why should people visit? What can we expect there?
It is such a special place, and I'm so thrilled that people are learning more about the great work that we're doing. It is essentially a journey back in time. The Negro Leagues were formed in Kansas City in 1920, and you get to witness how this league emerged. And as I remind folks, the genesis behind it was very simple. You won't let me play with you? I'll create a league of my own. And as I remind folks, that's the American way. And while America tried to prevent them from sharing in the joys of her so-called national pastime, it was the American spirit that actually allowed them to persevere and prevail. So not only did they create a playing ground for some of the best black and brown athletes, they built a thriving business enterprise that impacted African-American communities in ways in which we've not seen since the loss of the Negro Leagues. And that story comes to light in its entirety at the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum through a touring experience that features multimedia displays of obviously photographs, text panels, and of course, the Field of Legends, which obviously I am biased, but I think it is one of the most amazing displays in any museum anywhere in the world. It features 10 life-size bronze sculptures of Negro League greats and guys they're cast in position as if they were playing a game. And they represent 10 of the first group of Negro Leaguers to be inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York.
Joined by Mr. Bob Kendrick, Negro League Baseball Museum president. Bob, we've had you on a few times here, and I always say, you know, we have super friends, our superheroes, and I consider you one of those, of course, growing up playing baseball myself. One of the things that I'm super interested in, I don't think I've ever heard you say, is one of your favorite, you have a threshold of knowledge, and I always try to do my research at, you know, with the Negro Leagues, and Cool Papa Bill is like one of my favorite players to ever play. Of course, I didn't get to see him, but as much research I've done, he's one of my favorites. Who is someone that you've always kind of admired from afar as far as like one of your favorites in Negro League?
Henry Aaron was my all-time favorite baseball player and my childhood idol as a kid growing up in Crawfordville, Georgia. Crawfordville, Georgia is east of Atlanta, west of Augusta. Guys, all of 500 people. And every day on the playground, fellas, I had to be Henry Aaron. Now, I know some kids sometimes wanted to be Henry Aaron, but I had to be Henry Aaron. And here I am, a baseball fan. And until I got involved with the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum as a volunteer some 31 years ago, I did not know that his career started in the Negro Leagues.
Oh.
And he's my all-time favorite ball player. And so at that point, I'm blown away. And then in 1999, 25 years ago, as we now celebrate the 50th anniversary of him breaking Babe Ruth's record, I got an opportunity to take my childhood idol on a tour of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. And man, let me tell you, that's the first and only time I've ever been starstruck. And we've taken American presidents through this museum. We've taken first ladies of these United States, First Lady Laura Bush, Michelle Obama, General Colin Powell, Vice President Al Gore, a plethora of athletes and entertainers. And as I oftentimes say, with no disrespect to any of them, they are not Henry Aaron in the eyes, mind, and heart of this kid from Crawfordville, Georgia. He comes to the Negro Leagues as an 18-year-old, skinny, cross-handed hitting shortstop. So in the case of Mr. Aaron, he was a right-hand hitter who was hitting with his left hand on top. And as you all know, that's unorthodox. The fear is that you would break your wrist hitting in that manner. Henry Aaron is knocking the cover off the baseball in a highly unorthodox fashion when he gets to a team called the Indianapolis Clowns in 1952. They put the right hand on top, and the rest, as they say, is history. Yeah, he was shortly after discovered by the Boston Braves, who would become the Milwaukee Braves, of course, who would become the Atlanta Braves. And Henry Aaron will go down in this sport as one of the game's all-time greatest baseball players. And truthfully, in a game of numbers, no one's numbers are better than Henry Aaron from a major league standpoint. I'm not sure his total base record will ever be eclipsed, and I don't think his RBI record will ever be broken. I don't know if anyone will play long enough to get either of those.
Bob, I know that Henry's third all-time in career hits. Did he pick up any hits yesterday with his?
He didn't because he was in the Negro Leagues in 1952, and that's why I want to get this extended.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you raised that point. Manny Minoso picked up some extra hits. The great Monty Irvin picked up a bunch of more hits, and his batting average will go up higher because Monty Irvin was a superstar in the Negro Leagues. He gets to the major leagues, he's 30 years old. You know, as I'm here in San Francisco getting ready to do some work with the Giants, Monty comes to the New York Giants. He's 30 years old, and he's still a star at 30.
Yeah.
But y'all, if they'd gotten him when he was 19, 20 years old, there was nothing that Monty Irvin could not do. Many thought that he was going to be the guy to break the color barrier. And so he picked up some more hits. Satchel Paige picked up another 125 wins, you know, just yesterday to his major league total. Now, I can tell you this, wherever Satchel is, somewhere in that great somewhere, he upset because he's going to tell you they didn't get all my wins.
Right. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Yep.
You know, Bob, that which kind of leads me to the question before we let you go. From what I've read and what we've talked about here on the Drive Guys on the show, a lot of the barnstorming stats weren't counted, but you said great historians, people in the know. And one of the things in our lineage and in our culture is storytelling. You know, we like to storytell. We do this every single day. We have some great storytellers on this show. How are you going to kind of go about trying to add some of those stats beside extending the years, but as far as counting some of those, you know, stats that quote unquote weren't during the regular season?
Yeah. And again, another great point, because that's why to me the stats are what they are. But I don't ever want the stories to die. I don't want to lose the lore and legend surrounding the Negro Leagues. Josh Gibson, I tell people all the time, in Major League Baseball history, Babe Ruth was Paul Bunyan. For black folks, Josh Gibson was John Henry. Yeah, no, we don't want to lose that.
Right.
We don't want to not believe the speed of Cool Papa Bell, which I'm telling you, it was real. Cool Papa Bell could circle the bases in 12 seconds, and he may have been the greatest base runner this sport has ever seen. So, yeah, if they say he hit a ball up the middle and got hit in the rear end by his own line drive, of course that's an exaggeration, but it's trying to help people understand just how fast Cool Papa Bell really was. And I don't want to lose that. You know, and so the stats are what they are. They provide a quantification for those who need it. For man, that oral history that has been presented, and essentially that's how we've always learned about ourselves in the African American community. Your grandparents sat you down and told you and said, "Boy, let me tell you about these ball players you should have seen." And I don't want to lose that. You know, just as we assimilate these stats into the record books of Major League Baseball, it is commendable. We all celebrate that because it gets them mentioned. I think for all of us at the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, it has never been about us trying to say that the players in the Negro Leagues were better than their white counterparts. That's not what we're here to do. What we're here to do is give you a premise so that you will understand the significance of these athletes and the talent that was there in the Negro Leagues so that they are included in the conversation when we start talking about the greats in baseball. They should not be excluded. So they deserve to be listed right there amongst those who are the greats in this game, whether it was black baseball or white baseball. And it was no fault of their own that they couldn't play in the major leagues. They wanted to, they just wouldn't allow them to. So they created their own.
Mm-hmm. Bob, I remember watching as a kid the game of the week. I think it was Joe Garagiola saying, Cool Papa Bell was so fast, he could turn out the lights and he'd be in bed before it was dark. And I remember as a kid going, man, that guy must have been. He must have been fast.
And that is a true story. Now, Satchel Paige told that story, but what Satchel didn't tell everybody was there was a shortage in the light. And Cool Papa Bell, who had bet his meal money, he pulled one of the greatest sports pranks in sports history when he got his friend and clipped him of his meal money because that light switch had a shortage in it. Cool was able to turn it off, run over, hop in bed, cover up before the room went dark.
That's incredible. Bob, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Enjoy your trip to San Francisco. We hope to talk to you again very soon, sir.
Hey, guys, thanks so much for having me.
All right, good stuff, Bob. Thanks, man.
Yeah, that's tremendous. Talk to you again very soon, sir.
Hey, guys, thanks so much for having me.
That's Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, Mr. Bob Kendrick, the president of the Negro Leagues Museum on a big week, for that story and merging those statistics, and a lot of names being thrown around right now that haven't been thrown around in a long time, and a lot of people learning this week about a lot of names that should all be on the tip of our tongue if we're baseball fans. We'll take a break. When we return, thanks to Whitey and Kyle and everybody for that. When we come back, did the Kings leak? And if so, why did they leak the Mike Brown contract negotiations? We'll let you know why. We're going to paddle a little bit against the waves on that one. We'll do that next.
The only place you'll find Harrison Barnes is Satown Sports.
He's got the bucket at the buzzer. Harrison Barnes.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Harrison Barnes, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Satown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
I'm Tiffany, founder of Harlem Pilates. When I couldn't find Pilates in my neighborhood, I started a studio from my studio apartment. Chase Inc. helped me grow from 1 Pilates studio to 3. Because when you start small, you're going to need some big help.
With the Chase Inc. Business Cash Card, you can earn up to 5% cash back on business essentials, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at PowerCopier.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. It's finally Friday, and it's the final day of May. After a comfortable start to the morning, we'll have plenty of sunshine for the day ahead. Light southwest wind, and today's going to feel much warmer. Highs will climb to the mid-90s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
It's been said an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And when it comes to a nice, cool summer, it's so true. Right now, get a complete air conditioner tune-up for just $59. Bonnie. Plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Yeah, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/credit card.
As a roofer, spring means the start of my busy season, which means I've got to get organized. With help from Beacon, I can save time with Beacon Pro Plus and 24/7 access to live pricing, delivery tracking, order history, and more. Plus, this spring, I can earn $1,000 and the chance to win a $25,000 backyard renovation just by buying my CertainTeed shingles online with Beacon. No purchase necessary. Now that's what I call a spring cleanup. Visit BECN.com for official rules and to start earning entries.
Maida Chevy saves you $12,000 off MSRP on every new half-ton Silverado LT 5.3 liter in stock after rebates. Always 5 to choose from.
Exclusive, all in-stock pricing at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details and 6324.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Satown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SatownSports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Sacramento, Dirk Bentley is coming to town.
Hey y'all, this is Dirk Bentley.
Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends.
This is Farmer Lee. Take my hand, let me make you mine.
Hey, Stasha. Kelsey Hart and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets before they sell out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light.
Hagen Oaks Demo Days is in the home stretch, and this is your last chance to register for an individual fitting appointment with the manufacturer's fitting staff from Ping, TaylorMade, Mizuno, Callaway, Cleveland, Strixon, and Zexio. You've waited many long months for the new golf season, and Hagen Oaks has your new golf gear right now. Book your individual Hagen Oaks Demo Days fitting appointment. Call 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531 for your personal fitting. Hagen Oaks, Fulton Avenue at Cap City Freeway or HagenOaks.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle Draper here for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. I'm out enjoying this gorgeous North California weather, and I know you are too. And all you need on a day like this is a road trip to clear the mind. Why not a road trip in a newer pre-owned Mercedes-Benz? Mercedes-Benz of Stockton has a huge selection of new and pre-owned vehicles at their gorgeous new store. It's just a half hour from SAC, right at the 8 Mile Road exit. And trust me, it's the best car shopping experience of my life. Go see my fine friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton or go online anytime at mbofstockton.com.
Giants are grown at Sutter Health Park. The Sacramento Rivercats continue to fast-track talent to San Francisco, and there's more on the way. See them all in Sacktown first. The Rivercats are home now through next Sunday. Grab your tickets at rivercats.com.
Bleed black and purple. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on your local sports leader, Satown Sports.
Our thanks once again to Mr. Bob Kendrick and Kyle and Whitey. Hope you enjoyed that. That is available, by the way, if you missed it here or yesterday. On all of our channels, SatownSports.com, YouTube, etc. Do tune in. Fifth caller right now at 1-800-920-1140. We have Brooks and Dunn tickets for you. That's next week, as a matter of fact. Fifth caller. I don't need no stinking liner. I got it. We've teamed up. Get on the Folsom Lake Board hotline and be the fifth caller for more information. Go to SacktownSports.com. Brooks and Dunn. I believe that's June 8th. Is that correct? You have the liner in front of you. Saturday, June 8th.
That is correct.
Sharp as a tack, this guy.
Toyota Amphitheater.
All right. So while Kyle is awaiting your phone call and you can speak to him personally, make sure you say hi. Let's get into this Mike Brown thing again. So, the popular question being asked today in Kingsland, why did the Kings leak the Mike Brown contract stuff? Why would they do that? Shams Charania said that the Kings have put out a competitive offer of 3 years and $21 million, up to $27 million with incentives. And of course, everybody is jumping on one word, which is competitive. And why would Mike Brown's camp think that's competitive when they're clearly asking for a minimum of $2, if not $3 million more per year? The language of the tweet suggests that the Kings leaked it. Why are they negotiating publicly? I'm here to tell you that may be true. But let's, as my guy MC always says, let's critically think, shall we? Doesn't anybody with half a brain understand that if you put competitive offer into the statement, or should I say tweet, that it's going to be very clear that one side is putting it out there? Now, I criticize the Kings whenever I think they deserve criticism, and I do believe they deserve criticism for this. I think both sides really should not be doing this publicly. I don't think anybody's hands are clean. But I don't think that the Kings are monumentally stupid. Generally, and I'll say this again, generally, most of what you see Woj post is team-based. GMs, ownership, sources can come from anywhere. You could have a personal secretary, somebody in accounting. Anyone who's got access is a good source. And Shams, again, generally, not all the time, but generally lives in the world of player agents and players. Well, they both obviously have sources on both sides. If you step back from this whole thing and you look at it from a logical standpoint, it makes a lot more sense to me that anyone other than the Kings, anyone whose allegiance is to Mike Brown's contract situation, that could be Mike Brown's camp, that could be his agent Warren Legary, it could be a third party, I don't know. But what a stroke of genius it would be to give that piece to Shams and to make sure that competitive is included. Because of course everybody's going to think the Kings are going to tweet that. Of course everybody's going to think, my God, of course they said it. Because it said competitive. Mike Brown's camp doesn't think it's competitive. But there's no rules here. Mike Brown's biggest leverage, other than, his performance, his biggest leverage is the public eye. And right now the Kings are getting assaulted from all sides. Local media is saying, figure it out, sign the man. National media, figure it out, sign the man. Other fan bases are saying, don't sign him, we'll take him. Some of those places in both LA and Cleveland are places he's coached before, where they're saying, we'll take Mike Brown. Public opinion is firmly on the side of Mike Brown and giving him his extension, which when you compare, if he wants 3 years and $30 million, Tyronn Lue just got $14 million a year. And Mike Brown's credentials are the same and arguably better. We went over the numbers earlier. Mike Brown has one less regular season win since he took over the Kings since Ty Lue. He has one more postseason win if you count the play-in this year. And they have the same exact amount of playoff wins, 3-3. But Mike Brown's also done it with a payroll that's $52 million smaller. Also rebuilding a culture. Or should I say building a culture? There's no rebuild. Building a culture. These are all indisputable facts. You got to look really, really, really hard. And generally, it's just random guy who's being a contrarian. Because that's what contrarians do. That's saying, I don't know. He didn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve it. That ain't happening. So I'm not buying this is from the Kings. Look, if this is from the Kings, let me be really clear. If this is from the Kings, then they need to fire their anybody who has any access to anything front-facing, they all got to go. If this came from the Kings, they all got to go because they're stealing money from Vivek. But I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Now, some of you may say, "Well, hold on a second. What? Well, you're calling Shams Charanian's ethics into question. Why would he mislead this, that, whatever?" Well, listen, I'm not calling anybody's ethics into question. Shams Charania is an excellent reporter. He's a great story. I just had a great conversation with him about a month ago at a friend's wedding we both attended. He's a good dude. At least I've dealt with him, even though he keeps delaying coming on the show. But let me tell you a little something about reporting, okay? Especially, I'll speak specifically in the world of the NBA. Sam Amick and I have had this conversation many times, and I don't want to put any words into his mouth. If you don't think that reporters are, in effect, at times, I'm underlining at times, pawns in this game, that they're not being used knowingly, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. The purpose of reporters from an ownership or player or agent or coach standpoint is one of two things. It's either to annoy or it's to aid. Now, if I wanted to, let's say, be a highly paid national reporter that knew all the draft picks in advance, that knew all the trades when they happened, before they were announced publicly, I would certainly do everything I can to ensure that my relationships with these folks were strong. And if you're not familiar with the term quid pro quo, familiarize yourself with it. Quid pro quo. Because I'm going to do something for you, you're going to do something for me. I don't think it's calling Adrian Wojnarowski's ethics into question whatsoever when I say, yeah, he will put out things from his sources that are favorable to the sources. Sometimes teams want to get a message out. Sometimes you got to read carefully, but you read the tweet and XYZ player is expected to hit the open market, would be a wonderful addition to XYZ clubs. XYZ coach and this team have parted ways. It is expected that the market for XYZ coach will be incredibly competitive based on PDQ. Well, what do you think the editorializing is? Do you think it's just Woj and Shams or Chris Haynes or Mark Stein or Sam? You think they're just editorializing on their own? No, they're reporting what they've been given. Now, look, they're not just going to put anything out there. They're journalists. They're not going to put anything out there. But if I'm on the phone with, I'll just use me. If I'm on the phone with somebody from the Kings, somebody that I've known for years, somebody that I know is in a position of power and has the ability to speak both publicly and privately for the team, and they tell me, hey, contract negotiations with this player are breaking down and we're not sure if things are going to turn up. Now, if they're telling me that privately and off record, what that is that just means when I go on my show, I know that I can kind of guide the facts there and not mislead any of you. That's when I might say something like, yeah, I don't know if this guy's going to reset. It's not looking good. I'm not hearing the right things. Or there's the off the record in the sense that we want you to put this out here, but you can't use my name. That's unsourced. Sources say, but I can't say the source. And that's usually what happens. But what I'm not going to do is have the team source or the player source or the agent source or the coach source that if I trust them, I trust them. That's as far as it goes. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to editorialize on my own what they're saying. I'm not going to ask, why are you putting, I know why they're putting it out there. It's not my job or my place to shift their tone, to omit words or add them. not putting words in anyone's mouth that I report on. Nor would Shams, nor would Adrian Wojnarowski, nor would anyone else. So when you have a situation with Mike Brown where it says competitive offer, somebody told him to say competitive offer. That was the statement. That was the leak. And I ain't buying that the Kings are that stupid. I ain't buying it. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think logic's on my side with that. If I'm wrong, then we got a whole bigger issue than Mike Brown's coaching situation. We got a front office that's high, or front office, I should say, the executive section. That's passing the Dutchie to the wrong side. You know what I'm saying? But I don't buy it. They're not that stupid. No, they're not stupid at all. They make mistakes. Don't get me wrong. They ain't stupid. These are a lot of really, really educated, very smart people that understand media and have been around for a long, long time. I find it very hard to believe they're going to be that dumb to put that type of leak out there. But you know what? We'll see. We'll take a break. When we come back, let's go streaking. Who's hot, who's not. We'll find out if the ill Jason Ross, and not ill in the good way, we'll find out if he can continue his 9-game streak. If I can get off the schneid, and Chris trying to go from 3 to 4, and Kyle trying to get on the board. We'll do all that right after this.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead.
Get your Kings fix all season long right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings, Satown Sports and SatownSports.com.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton and Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton and Price in your corner. When you call Ashton and Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real live person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
If you're looking for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance, we're Term Provider, experts in finding affordable term life insurance for those that may not be in perfect health. Prostate cancer, heart conditions, high cholesterol, or on prescription medications, you may still qualify for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance. Call Term Provider at 800-337-4168. 800-337-4168.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% when you buy 68 or more OSB sheathing. Plus, get an extra 5% off every day on eligible purchases when you use your Lowe's business credit card. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. 5% offer subject to credit approval. Exclusions and terms apply. See store Lowe's.com/credit for details.
In a world where everybody and their mother makes a primed trim board, contractors have to ask one question. Do I know what's under the primer? Available at just about every lumber yard you can imagine. Vintage trim boards are made from lodgepole pine. That's the stuff telephone poles and railroad ties are made of. It's durable. It's straight. It's been doing the job for generations. Manufactured right here in the USA. Ask for it by name. VintageTrimboards.com.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500.
I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
It's Kyle Draper here to let you know that the famous Bay Area Pizza Company, Amici's East Coast Pizzeria, has just opened its first location in Sacramento, offering takeout and delivery to the greater Sacramento area. To check out the menu and order online, visit amicis.com and click on the Sacramento banner. As a special deal, all this week, when you enter promo code SAC50 at checkout, they'll give you 50% off any large pizza. So when you want to enjoy half-price pizzas with family and friends this week, use promo code SAC50 at amicis.com and Amici's delivers.
What's hot and what's not. Brought to you by American Energy Heat and Air, making the uncomfortable comfortable. Head to AmericanEnergyAir.com to find out more.
What's hot?
Yeah, hot. Real hot. And what's not?
It's not good. Brought to you by American Energy Heating and Air, Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company and second opinion partner.
Who in fact, is hot?
Who's hot? The Dallas freaking Mavericks going to the NBA Finals. So at halftime yesterday, the Dallas Mavericks were beating the Minnesota Timberwolves by a whopping 29 points.
Yeah.
Do you have any guesses about when the last time an NBA team had a 29-point lead at halftime of a closeout game in the conference finals?
No.
That is fair, because it's never, ever happened.
Yeah, I was trying to think.
The Dallas Mavericks had the most dominant first half in a conference final closeout game of all time.
Well, that's not fair. It's not fair to Minnesota. Didn't even give them a chance. It was bad TV. We were watching Jeopardy at halftime, and I forgot to turn it back on till like halfway through the third. It's not great.
Luka and Kyrie outscoring the entire Timberwolves team.
By the way, on this day in 2002, the infamous Game 6, 22 years ago today, was Game 6. Yeah.
Did something happen then?
No. Well, bunch of refs decided to rig a game.
What do you mean?
I mean, referees rigged the game
like,
in favor of the Lakers.
Like referees purposefully started blowing whistles on calls that didn't exist and let calls slide against the other team?
I know. You were...
You don't want to know how old I was.
No, I don't. But I'm guessing you were not potty trained.
That would be correct.
Who's not hot other than the referees?
That would be Mr. Karl Anthony Towns.
Well, kitty, Karl Anthony Towns.
So Karl Anthony Towns, in the 4 games that the Timberwolves lost in the series, he shot 4 for 28 from the three-point line. That is a grandiose 14.3%.
No, it's not grandiose.
No, but I was, sarcastic.
Aren't we kind of, we're picking on poor Cat. Can I just say?
I wasn't even done picking.
Go ahead.
Okay, so if Karl had hit 14 of 28 three-pointers in those games, which is obviously a lot, that's 50%, but if he had hit 14 out of 28, the Timberwolves would have outscored the Mavericks in the entire series.
Last night, Karl Anthony Towns played 38 minutes. That's the second most on the team behind Anthony Edwards. He tied with Edwards for a team-high 28 points to go with 12 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal on 9 of 20 shooting. Yeah, he was 1 of 6 from beyond the arc, but still, let's see, if he was 1 of 6 from behind the arc, let me do this here. So that means he was, 8 of 14 from... that math's probably wrong, but 8 of 14 from inside the arc, plus 9 of 10 from the line. I don't think Karl Anthony Towns, I know that's not what you're saying. I don't think that's why they lost.
No.
They got nothing.
Karl Anthony Towns recreated the Chris Paul meme of Chris Paul hits a three-pointer to cut the deficit to 42.
Yeah. 69 to 40 going into the half, as you said. That's just Ridiculous.
We didn't talk about this today, but the fan who was doing the whining Luka Doncic thing, and then Luka having the highest scoring quarter in the history of the conference finals while jawing at that fan, just incredible.
Yeah.
Saying who's crying now is great.
Couple of arguments I want to squash here real quick. Number one, please don't come at me with Ty Lue as a championship as a coach and Mike Brown doesn't. Mike Brown has 4 championships as a coach. He was an assistant. Ty Lue was a head coach. Do we want to go ahead and take a look at the teams each was coaching? Do we want to take a look at the payrolls for each? And ask Steve Kerr how much Mike Brown meant to those championships. Secondly, the idea that you don't count a play-in game as a postseason game is, remember I was telling you earlier about contrarians? And the big argument for those people, and I'm saying those people, is the stats don't count. Wasn't a game. No, it was a game. And it was after the season. Now, if you call it a playoff win, you're wrong. Play-in is not playoffs. Play-in is, in fact, postseason. You need the regular season to determine who's in the play-in, and the play-in determines who's in the postseason. Now, is it a limbo? Sure. Do the stats count? Nope. It's still a postseason victory. And being in a play-in, a one-off, if you will, is every bit as big of a win as a postseason win. And arguably more pressure. You've got 2 teams that are vying to get into the playoffs, playing as hard as they can against each other at an elevated level. In what world would you not want to count that onto somebody's record when talking about them as a coach or a player, regardless of where the statistics go? The win and the loss matter.
If you go on Basketball Reference, you can still find play-in game logs for players too. It's just the NBA doesn't officially keep them, which honestly it should just be its own separate thing. Sure, it would be weird that we only have 2 game logs for Domantas Sabonis, but by this point, DeMar DeRozan and Kobe White probably have 10 play-in games on their record.
Checking in on the YouTube chat. These games don't appear on any official NBA record. The points scored don't count. The wins or losses don't count. Somebody else says Towns literally, nope, I'm not going to read that. How is this helping our coach? Big disagree. And then MC right in the middle of the whole thing. We should all wear 6 masks. Do me a favor. Why don't you just boot MC for 5 minutes?
Give him a timeout.
Yeah, just, at some point, I've let the whole thing go all morning, and he gets more leeway than anyone. But just for the love of God,
he's very nice to me. So just know
I love him too. It's just, come on, man. Hey, this is a stat. Hey, this guy did that. Hey, how about Luka? I don't think he deserves the money. Oh, I think he does deserve the money. Hey, this and that, whatever. Pfizer. What are you doing? At least, attempt to not, constantly fart out random out of context comments, sure to spice up and make arguments. And if that's not free speech, I'm sorry. This is a show-tatorship. This is not a showocracy, as I say all the time. Actually, I say the opposite all the time. But when it comes to that, 100% show-tatorship. Let's go streaking, shall we?
It's time to go streaking.
We're going streaking!
Who is the Nostradamus of MLB? Who can keep the streak going? It's time to go streaking.
What the hell are you doing? We're streaking.
All righty then. Let's start with you.
Hi.
Since you're new to it, Kyle. By the way, Kyle in for an ailing Christopher Laud and Jason Rosacorsa, both of them recovering. We hope to have them back on Monday, but, we'll see. We'll let nature take its course. Don't want them back until they're fully healthy. In the meantime, you got involved yesterday. Who'd you pick? How'd you do?
All right, I picked William Contreras for the Milwaukee Brewers.
William Contreras.
Billy Contreras.
Billy Contreras.
The Brewers ended up winning, scored 6 runs, 9 hits, but unfortunately,
Ooh, you
no
suck.
hits.
It's over. It's over now. It's over. The streak is over. It's over, ladies and gentlemen.
A little bit of a faux pas by you. We don't play the streak is over thing for people that didn't have a streak.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, you have to have at least 3 to get that number.
I'm just so trigger happy with the it's over sound.
Yeah, well, I got you. All right, let's see. I was at 0.
Yes.
I took Abraham Toro of the Oakland Athletics.
Yes, you did.
I said, you know what? I can't get a hit out of Mookie Betts. I can't get a hit out of Luis Arias. I'll just go with an Oakland A. See if I can go opposite. How did he do?
Well, Abraham Toro against the Tampa Bay Rays had 5 at-bats and not 1, not 2, 3 hits for Mr. Abraham Toro.
That's what I'm talking about. We go against the grain. Thank you, Abraham Toro, my second favorite Abraham of all time. All right. But the big news, Jason Ross.
Yes.
Now, I know he took DJ LeMahieu. 9-game hitting streak. How did he do?
Sounds like he's been picking a lot of Yankees.
Yeah, he's been picking. What's his favorite team? The Yankees. Yeah.
Good luck.
I got
So the New York Yankees scored 8 runs. Somehow only had 5 hits.
How'd that happen?
I don't know. A lot of hit by pitches. Just the Angels were hitting everyone. And DJ LeMahieu in 3 at-bats, also a walk, got 1 hit.
Oh, jeez, Jason. He's getting close. 1 more, and he ties, I believe, my all-time streak it's either 11 or 12, so he's right there. All right, give me Shohei Ohtani. Who are you taking?
Jose Altuve.
Okay, and we'll get Jason's pick going into the weekend. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll take a first look at the finals matchup between Boston and Dallas. More importantly, who do you want to win? And Kyle, I see here at the very end, it says Kyle Ledbetter's Friday Fun and Games. Am I correct? You have a Friday Fun and Games planned?
You're damn right I do.
Oh, boy. Stay tuned for that. That might be a car crash, but they're fun to watch, especially on the radio. We'll be right back after this.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Satown Sports and the Satown Sports app.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
People in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash cash I earned from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code HYBRID to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code HYBRID for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code HYBRID for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The Summer Starts Here sales event is on now through Memorial Day at your Toyota dealer. Hit the road in a brand new Toyota truck and explore new trails on any terrain. The time is now, so don't miss out. Right now, get financing as low as 0% APR on 2024 Tundra Hybrid or up to $2,000 cash back. Or check out the all-new redesigned 2024 Tacoma. Hurry, Toyota's Summer Starts Here sales event ends soon. Toyota, let's go places. Offer available for TFS to buyers with premium rated credit. Tundra Capstone models only. Excludes TRD Pro. N6324.
Vapes and cigarettes are responsible for the excessive amount of secondhand smoke in California.
From our sidewalks to our parks, restaurants, offices, and work sites, over half of Californians are at risk of being exposed to thousands of toxic chemicals.
Go to secondhanddangers.org for an action plan to protect yourself and your family from toxic harm that could last a lifetime.
Because even outdoors, there's no such thing as safe secondhand smoke.
Sponsored by Breathe California, Sacramento region. Sacramento sports fans, get ready to amp up your summer with the Satown Sports live events calendar. We've got a lineup that's awesome. First up, mark your calendar for June 8th when NF takes the stage at the Golden One Center. Visit livenation.com for tickets and get ready for a killer high-energy show. Don't miss music legends Daryl Hall and Elvis Costello with the Imposters on June 12th and NSYNC and Backstreet artists Joey Fatone and AJ McLean on June 22nd. Two great shows coming in June to Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Then looking ahead to August 4th, get ready for the Outlaw Music Festival at the Toyota Amphitheater, featuring legends like Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and John Mellencamp, presented by Live Nation. The Satown Sports live events calendar, your ultimate playbook for the best shows and events in town. Stay tuned to Satown Sports for exclusive updates and your chance to win tickets.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Tape it on the local level. Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Satown Sports. The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Lod and Jason Ross, and temporarily Carmichael Dave while he runs down the hallway. We got 1 hour left in the show before Styles and Watkins take over at 10 o'clock. They're also going to join us for Friday Fun and Games coming up at 9:43. And because Jason Ross and Christopher Lod are out this week, me,
Look at
Kyle
you.
Ledbetter,
Look at
gets
you.
to run Friday Fun and Games.
Look at you. I was being a nice guy. I was holding the door open. But look at you.
Thank you for doing that.
How long did you let the music run?
I let it run until 10 seconds before radio silence.
So how long did it run for?
Not that long. It's the Get Busy song.
Wait, was that really a 4.5 minute break?
Yes.
Jeez.
In fact, it was a 4 minute and 28 second break.
Time flies when you're being a polite guy.
I was just saying, Styles and Watkins are going to join us at 10 o'clock, actually at 9:43, because we're going to play Friday Fun and Games together.
I'm scared.
So very excited.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit nervous about that. Kyle's got the wheel. One thing I'm also a little nervous about is part of the segment, I want to get to the finals. But one thing I've never done when I've been down in the dumps or, I've been hurt in love before, never made a song about it. Which you can't say the same for former Raider Darren Waller. Divorcing Kelsey Plum, the star athlete. And he dropped, I'm going to be really honest, man. I honestly thought this wasn't real. But it is. It's Darren Waller dropping a ballad. Now, I'm not going to play the whole thing. You're welcome. But I'll play a little. It's hard to love. It's hard to be free. I also want to say this. I'm not a musician. I respect all forms of music. I love all forms of music. I'm not one of those anti-auto-tune guys. I just don't know if you need to auto-tune your speaking voice. Maybe your singing voice. But it sounds like he swallowed a xylophone or an accordion or whatever that thing is. Zero. Hard to give all your soul in. There's a video too, by the way. Have your heart broken in return, but have you seen this? It's time. Yeah. Take your time ahead. Okay. Okay. I like that. That's fine. So fine. That, you know what? Little Post Malone right there. If I dare tell you.
It's just a guitar underneath some auto-tune voice.
Just a little Post Malone right there when he started singing.
Take your time ahead. Just take a time out and feel. The nights we opened up and we knew how much that you and I were real.
Little too much auto-tune there.
How long I gotta climb up this hill? I'm tired and I wanna be still.
Darren Waller.
Imagine if we fell out of tune.
That's auto-tune. That's.
But who knew that love could kill? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
It's a beat.
Thought of love was real. Who knew that love could kill?
Is that an owl? Booing?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Okay, I can't. Let me see, and we have lost 784 listeners. Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe not. Maybe like what is the what's the upside of that one? Darren Waller dropped a banger. Wow.
If we're going to talk about this story, this is the way I would have liked to go about it, is talking about the level of auto-tune in it, because I don't remember if you remember on Hard Knocks a couple of years ago, Darren Waller talked about battling issues with addiction and mental health.
Yes.
And it's, he's last year battled injuries and said, I kind of was contemplating retirement and now this is happening. So it sounds like there's a lot going on in his life that's led to this point. But at the same time, it is out there. People are running with it. I know Kelsey was kind of the one who broke the news about their divorce by a cryptic post on one of the social media platforms, but just seems like there's a lot going on in this man's life.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about what you just did there.
Yeah, I know.
What did you do?
What'd you do? I threw a wet fish into a conversation that was about Darren Waller's auto-tune.
A wet fish?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
What is a wet fish? Aren't all fish wet?
Yeah, but no one likes it when you toss a wet fish.
Wouldn't it be a wet blanket? Is that what you mean?
No.
Like a wet fish.
Yeah.
Anyone on the chat heard of wet fish? Maybe I've just missed that. A wet fish.
No, because a wet blanket is someone who is just neutering the enthusiasm.
Yes,
a wet fish
that's what you did.
I don't know what to do with this now.
Well, that too. You threw you threw a turd in the punch bowl. A wet blanket. Because what I wanted to do is I wanted to good-naturedly make fun of Darren Waller and his auto-tuning and how bad that song was, and also go into, hey, if you're doing that or you're thinking of it, don't do it. And it's a nice, lighthearted segment making fun of an athlete. Now, when you frame in his past struggles with addiction and mental health and bring all that into the exact same conversation, what you do is then you frame the host as a bad guy who is picking on somebody who should not be picked on.
Which is why I would have just let you ran with it and sat off to the side. But it felt like you were kind of like looking for a play partner.
Let me ask you this. Did I remember when I asked you to weigh in on it? What did I say? What did I say when I asked you to weigh in on it?
That is fair.
Wait, that's right. I didn't ask you to weigh in on it. And even if I had asked you to weigh in on it, you got to read the room a little better, young Kyle, and go, do I want to tank this whole bit, or do I want to just roll with it, baby? Or, you know what some people can do? Not even really have an opinion on it.
That is fair.
We'll take a break. I need to wash my hands, say some sorries. Write an apology letter to Darren. When we come back, we'll take a first look at the finals matchup before we get to celebrity birthdays. By the way, do they know they're hopping in, talking about Styles and Watkins early for celebrity birthdays?
I have not informed them of this.
Maybe ask them if they can hop in at 9:30, and then we'll do Friday Fun and Games at 9:43. Don't go away. Quick break. We're right back.
Subscribe to Satown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Styles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Satown Sports.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? I think my battery's dead. With free battery testing and charging, we can help you get back on the road.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
So what if I need a new one? We have the right Duralast battery for you, only at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
And what about my old battery? We can recycle it right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
As a roofer, spring means the start of my busy season, which means I've got to get organized. With help from Beacon, I can save time with Beacon Pro Plus and 24/7 access to live pricing, delivery tracking, order history, and more. Plus, this spring, I can earn $1,000 and the chance to win a $25,000 backyard renovation just by buying my CertainTeed shingles online with Beacon. No purchase necessary. Now that's what I call a spring cleanup. Visit BECN.com for official rules and to start earning entries.
Waking you up with the best in local sports.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
on Satown Sports.
All right, let's see. Not a lot of defense of the wet fish comment, Kyle. Going to the chat. A wet fish feeds all rivers. Okay. A wet fish raises all boats. A wet fish fries faster. And the old goodie, a wet fish in the hand is worth 2 in the coral. A wet fish never bites the hook that feeds them. Yeah, okay.
I'm still stuck on the coral one.
Yeah. I don't think. I think we're gonna call wet fish a Kyleism.
That's fine.
Wet fish.
A wet fish. Just dropped a wet fish into the conversation.
Yeah,
maybe it's drop a dead fish. Maybe that's the
dead
phrase
fish.
I'm thinking of.
Well, according to the Urban Dictionary, Britain in England, a fish that is wet, a wet fish is used for slapping people in the face.
And that's what I did.
That's exactly what
you were trying to talk about. Darren Waller and auto-tune, and I hit you with a wet fish of mental health.
A wet fish.
Oh, just a wet fish right across your face.
Oh, the early bird gets the wet fish. All right, we've talked enough about this Mike Brown thing today, and I'm sure that it will be talked about throughout the day with both Styles and Watkins and Kyle and Whitey later on this afternoon. We got Boston and Dallas coming up. That's your NBA Finals, everybody. Just as we all thought. And we've said this before, but if it ends up being Boston winning this whole thing, then it's just kind of funny because these have been some crazy, crazy playoffs. But in the end, if that's what happens and Boston wins, well, it's just what everybody thought. They were the preseason favorites. They're the favorites going to the playoffs. Check your phone, would you there, Kyle? I sent you something. That will start next Thursday. ABC. Next week, don't worry. We'll be getting all your predictions. Who you think is going to win this thing, we'll let you know what we think as well. Here's Luca from last night.
You're going to the NBA Finals, Luca. That's insane. But this trophy is the whole team, man. It's not me. It's the whole team. I see you. But no, this means a lot. We're going to NBA Finals. Just can't believe it, man.
Said, I'll see you all in Minnesota. See ya. This Kyrie and Luka were on fire last night.
So the 39 by the two Mavs and only 38 is a team from the Wolves. And Irving
These outside guys talk at halftime about how I'm out of my mind, saying this is the most talented offensive backcourt of all time.
Ooh. I forgot Stan said that. Luka and Kyrie versus Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Interesting. So we welcome in. Hey, Christopher Laud and Jason Ross are out sick. 2 days in a row now. We're almost done with day 2 of myself and Kyle. And Kyle threw a wet fish, as he says, on the last segment. So, we have a deep, deep bullpen here. We can even pull starters in as well from the afternoon show, as much as you guys wanted to start beef with the two of us. The one, the only, the longest tenured radio host in all of Sacramento. Actually, it's probably Marcus Allen, but he's pretty close. Whitey Gleason from the afternoon program. Good morning, Whitey.
Good morning. And aren't fish kind of supposed to be wet? I mean, isn't that kind of the state of a fish if things are going well?
I wanted to make fun of Darren Waller's auto-tune song. I'm sure you've probably heard it being a musician yourself. And then Kyle started talking about Darren's struggles with alcoholism and mental health. And I had to do an on-air teaching moment where I said, look, I kind of wanted to have some lighthearted fun, but now you brought up this serious stuff and now you paint me in a corner. I can't really make fun of him anymore. And he apologized. Yeah. He apologized for throwing a wet fish on the segment.
Yeah. I heard. Yeah. I thought you were calling me to observe the anniversary of something that I know you don't forget, which would be the funeral that we held for the Lakers on this date in 2002. It was on this date, Dave, which of course was the date of that Game 6. So happy anniversary.
I did mention the Game 6 anniversary. I very purposely, talk about throwing a wet fish down. I purposely did not bring up the funeral. The Sacramento Kings up 3-2. All they've got to do is win one of the next 2 games. And Whitey Gleason, the head of the Rise guys, the head of the snake, the creative force, decides let's have a funeral for the Lakers and test the gods. And boy, we know we're the God side when it comes to Sacramento.
I don't think it was the gods. It was the people blowing the whistles. Yeah. Those are the people that we had the issue with.
Yeah. Scott Howard Cooper, our mutual friend, he got very serious with me. I think it was within the last year as we were promoting his book. And I was just in passing. I was saying something like, yeah, you know, they rigged Game 6. And Scott was like, hold on a second. Are you saying on radio that they rigged? That's a very serious accusation. I was like, whoa, yes.
Have you heard this? This is true, and you may have heard it. You may have been listening. A couple years after that, it was probably 2010 or 2011, something like that. Bob Delaney, one of the officials in that game, he wrote a book, and it's an amazing story. He was like undercover for the feds, and anyway, he wrote a book, and so he's going to come on with us to talk about the book. And just before it comes on, little Joe Pittman's in the studio with him and says, hey, just you know, they may ask you something about Game 6. And he goes, well, if they do, I won't be able to say anything. And Joe says, well, just it might come up. So then we go to, and here he is, NBA official wrote this book, Bob Delaney. And I go to him, click. He hung up. He would not even come on the air with us. And we of course, we were going to ask him, but we didn't, we just told him it might come up. He would not even come on the air with us.
Wow. I didn't know that story.
Yes. Yeah.
So let me ask you, in your opinion, and you and I both love little Joe Pittman, and he's maybe the best producer we've ever had, along with Jody Bacon at the station.
The producer's producer.
The producers, yeah.
Don King once called him.
That is a fact. So let me ask you, was that a faux pas on Joe's part? Should he have just not warned? I guess in retrospect, he shouldn't have warned Bob, but in the end, it was the ethical thing to do. Is that where we're sitting there?
As I recall, and I'm not sure, but I think I may have asked Joe, hey, just let him know that might come up. I'm not sure, but that's probably, if it's anybody's fault, it's my fault. But I just thought, let's just, he'd be an idiot if he didn't think that was going to come up, unless he just was that oblivious. But I think that was probably on me if it was on anybody.
I want to, I did earlier, but I wanted to thank you personally, and also Kyle Draper. We replayed in its entirety. Now, normally when I replay interviews, I'm just going to be completely honest. It's because I'm lazy and don't want to do much work. So, hey, let's cross promote, as we say it, but really I get a segment off. But in this case, I caught the tail end of your interview with Mr. Kendrick yesterday, and it had so much great feedback that I was getting the great feedback as directed to you guys for it. That was obviously, I mean, you knew it before he came on, but what a special interview that was.
Speaking of producers, Jay Johnson lined that up for us. It was tremendous, and I have to confess, when I turned you guys on this morning, I heard about Kendrick. I didn't know it was a replay. And I thought, Dave just went and got our guest from yesterday, and they're talking.
I would never do something like that, as you well know.
I should have known better, Dave. I should have known better. And I'm listening, and I'm going, man, he's saying exactly the stories that he told us. Oh, I see. So, yeah, I'm glad that thank you for playing that, because that obviously is such a tremendous story. So many layers to it. I appreciate that you shared that with people. Thank you.
No problem. By the way, did you have Mark Jones on yesterday?
Yes, sir.
So I just want you to know, but a little backstory, and then we'll wrap it up, because Whitey's doing me a huge favor here, coming on and helping get us through today. Whitey called me a few weeks ago and just was screaming at me because they had a guest on, and then I think it was about a month later, I had the same guest on. I could be wrong on the timing. And
very wrong.
Yeah, very wrong. Okay. And
next day, whatever. Whatever.
Next day, a month later, and Whitey calls me up and hey, Whitey, what's going on? Whitey, what do I owe this pleasure to? And he was like, look, do not, and just proceeded to lay into me. That was our guest. You screwed us, Dave. You absolutely screwed us. Click, right? So, oh my God, I wiped the tears, and I realized, God, I didn't even mean that. So I just want you to know that I was talking to Mark Jones. We were texting with each other. We had a conversation over the weekend. Then we were texting yesterday. I said, Mark, can you come on? He goes, sure, no problem. And then I got him all scheduled out. And he goes, oh, by the way, I'm going on with just so you know, I'm going on with Whitey and Kyle later this afternoon. I said, Mark, I love you. Can't do it. We'll get back to you later in the year. Can't double up. I don't want to know what Whitey's going to do if we do this. So, anyways, all yours, pal.
Woo. Close call there.
Woo.
Yeah.
We drop it.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, pardon me, but I didn't realize this till I was, getting ready to talk to him yesterday. doing a little bit of research. We all know Mark Jones. We all know all about him. We thought he was a really good college basketball player in, well, it doesn't really count because it was in Canada, but he was a really good college basketball player, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, very good college basketball player. Almost as good as men's league Kyle Draper, and we went over those stats.
He had a big game last night. You might want to revisit that.
Oh, did he?
Well, all I know is he texted Jay and I, and he's just like pictures of LeBron and stuff.
Wow.
So I don't know what the final tally was, but I think you really lit a fire in him, and he's turned this thing around.
Well, he did come on, and we did go over those stats with him, and, we made it clear we're not clowning here. We're all sitting on our fat butts while you're out there doing it. He said, look, I'm just getting in game shape. I'm not in game shape yet. So maybe you're right. We lit a fire under him, and he went out and made the team proud, much like you guys are going to do. Look at the segue. This afternoon from 2 to 6, where I'm sure you guys will be talking. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm imagining the finals, the game last night, Sham Charania's tweet about Mike Brown and all that, and much, much more. Am I near the mark?
Yes, and let me do this for you. Now, I won't be able to hear you here, so hopefully you can hear, but just fade out whenever you want. I want to leave you with a song I've been working on. I think you might recognize it. I got to put my phone down.
Okay.
But it goes kind of like this. I want to write a song. I only know 2 chords. My girlfriend just left me. Kyle threw a wet fish. My auto-tune song. I only know 2 chords. Trying to write a song. I only know 2 chords.
We'll take a break. When we come back, celebrity birthdays with Styles and Watkins. That's Whitey Gleason. We're right back after this.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
They're going to give it. No, it's a play action. Purdy going to roll left, throw for the end zone. Caught by George Kittle. He has the hat trick tonight, a career high. 3 touchdown catches for George. Touchdown, San Francisco.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. People come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort.
Do you have sore feet, an aching back, or plantar fasciitis? Then get to the Good Feet store nearest you for your free arch support fitting. Good Feet arch supports are only available at the Good Feet store.
You've seen the specials on Amazon, Netflix, Showtime, and more. Don't miss an evening with Steve Trevino.
Babe, can I go with Steve and have a drink at the casino? And then she started to speak wife. She looked at him right in the face and she goes, you can do whatever you want. And his dumb goes, told you. I go, oh, no, it's a trap. It's a trap.
Steve Trevino. Saturday, June 1st, the venue at Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Tickets on sale now at ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss an evening with Steve Trevino.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends at American Energy. Now, I've told you this before, but this is what we call extending a good deal. Right now, American Energy Heat and Air is offering an HVAC diagnostic for $99. Oh, wait. I'm sorry, never mind. They're offering it free. It's a $99 value, but you get it for $0. Let the American Energy team test your system connections and all the moving parts of that system to ensure that it's functioning properly. Now, this is a limited time offer. Call today to schedule your appointment at 916-520-9990. Speak to the company that has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau that's been making the greater Sacramento area proud since 1981. 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
On Satown Sports.
You ever heard of somebody throwing a wet fish on a conversation?
No.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Kyleism.
I think I was trying to say dead fish, but
I've heard wet blanket.
Wet blanket.
There you go.
Yeah. Or a dead fish. Not a wet fish.
I combined two.
I think you did. It's a lead. Speaking of lead batteries, how are you there, Chris Watkins?
Pretty good. Pretty good. It's a Friday.
You're a team player coming in here, getting ready. Where's Mr. Oh, I'm Alan Stiles. I played baseball. I'm the MC for the.
Yeah. He's telling Nate right now about his adventures of coaching. He just started coaching Little League the other day, so he's just letting.
So hold on. So
yeah.
just let me. So we got two major players out sick.
Yeah.
It's a Friday.
Yeah.
I'm doing this whole thing by myself. Yeah. You know, when Kyle's here. And, you know, we're doing celebrity birthdays. You're telling me Alan's stories to Nate about his coaching.
Well, I mean, he's putting the show together.
Okay. All right. We put the show.
After
I got your show. It's
Mike Brown.
It's Mike Brown.
It's going to be a lot of Mike Brown.
Did you hear my theory on that? It's okay if you didn't.
I don't think so. I saw your tweet about the loaf, which I kind of have questions about. But
I have a real hard time believing the Kings are this stupid. I know that they can be stupid.
It'd be pretty dumb.
I think Mike Brownside's playing chess.
It could be.
The fact that they put competitive offers, and of course everyone's jumping on that. Yeah. Well, of course they're jumping. Kings had to know they were going to jump on it. Yeah. Well, what a great move for Mike Brown's guy to put that out there.
Yeah.
And really piss everybody off.
Well, I'd imagine that pisses off some people in the Kings building too, because it doesn't make them look good at all.
None of this is good.
I think competitive is the most embarrassing part of that entire thing. I mean, if you know, we're seeing Ty Lue get 14 mil. You've got Bud at 10. The list goes on and on. To say 7 is competitive is malpractice. I don't. It's sad.
And now you worry, or I'm worried.
And that's with guarantee. That's the guarantees equal 7 mil.
Now I'm worried about even if they come to a deal. A lot of times you see this stuff happen. It goes public, and now all of a sudden everyone's pissed at everybody. Now you're all supposed to get back in bed together now,
right? Exactly.
Supposed to trust
You're
each
just
other.
Supposed to forget it, right? Like, oh, sorry, all's fair in love and war, right?
So you'll have that. You'll have, I'm sure, last night's game. You'll have Mavs Dallas first look.
Yep. There's some Warrior stuff that's out there.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Coaching stuff?
No, our guy Anthony Slater's putting out some stuff. Maybe end of the Splash Brothers. Maybe they're gonna add a big star over there. A lot of whispers.
Harrison Barnes?
No.
Okay, all right.
No.
All right. Stan Van Gundy just picked this up in the last segment. We were playing clips. Stan Van Gundy said that Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving are the greatest offensive backcourt.
Keep saying that.
Yeah, I don't think they're better than Curry and Clay, are they? It's an argument.
I don't think so. You know, I also think they showed stats last night of like the duos that scored 30 and over. And, you know, I obviously wasn't alive for it, but Elgin and Jerry West, pretty decent. I think they said they had 6 of those 30-point games in a playoff series. So those two definitely got something to say.
Yeah, but we'll also average like 55 rebounds. I mean, let's go.
I mean, Alan also brought up a good point of like, you know, if like how much of this just has to do with success. Like if we're just talking offensive duos, like Kyrie and KD is pretty good. They just never got far enough to, you know, be in that kind of conversation.
Well, Kyrie and LeBron are pretty good.
Kyrie and LeBron pretty decent. Shaq and Kobe, like, you know, they were kind of a handful.
They were fine.
You know?
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot.
All right, celebrity birthdays.
They're good, though.
They're good. I think they're very good. Brought to you by Crumble Cookies. Nothing brings family and friends together better The Crumble cookies, CRUMBL.
Yeah, I gotta get some. You know, Crumble is one of those places. They're closed on Sundays, and I swear every single time I'm like, I always want Crumble, but when I'm like, I need to go get in my vehicle right now and get Crumble, it's always Sunday.
What are we closed on Sunday? Well, you know, Chick-fil-A.
I can tell you why.
I know why,
Yeah.
but you know what? My whole thing is this:
you must not like money.
Noted
right?
religious scholar Carmichael Dave. If he didn't want you to make be around on that day, it wouldn't have made. We'd only have 6 days. Give me my cookies. I'll say it right here. Jesus loves crumble cookies.
I guarantee.
Okay,
I
would
guarantee.
want
They should put
you
that in every store.
100% would want you to have crumble cookies. Hey, don't be none of your input on this one, pal. This is way too big of a lava pit. You can screw around with Darren Waller. When old JC's name gets dropped, you just calm down back
Kelsey
there.
Plum had that man.
Yeah, she did. Just kidding, Kyle. Celebrity birthdays.
I just am moving on.
Yeah,
moving past it. Speaking of wet fish, let's
Mike
start.
Trout,
right?
Close. Colin Farrell.
I'm gonna let you figure that
Because
one
he
out.
plays Penguin in the DC.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Is a penguin a fish?
I would
Maybe
it's
a mammal or something.
mammal-ish. It's got. I don't. Oof. Never mind. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna.
It's
say.
a bird.
It's gonna make me.
Remember,
sound
it's a
stupid.
flightless bird.
Yeah, it's a bird, right?
Yeah, it's a bird.
They're flightless aquatic birds.
Aquatic.
Hey, they're flightless aquatic birds. Colin Farrell. Hey, he's the guy with he's the Irish guy, right? Actor, dark hair. Yeah.
Miami
Full
Vice.
tooth.
Mustache. Right?
Yeah, okay, I got it now. He's Colin Farrell's little bit, but a good actor. Usually 56. Let's say 56.
Yeah.
A little druggy. What's a little
58.
druggy?
What was it?
He dabbled 58.
He's only 47 years
That's
old.
that druggy thing I'm talking
Wow,
about right there. You know?
that is a lot. Yeah, I thought maybe I'd be low. By the way, a guy on the text line, Bill and Amy, want to know, how do you do celebrity birthdays? Oh, yesterday, and not say Harrison Mark.
Not say Harrison Mark.
We acknowledged it earlier in the show.
Yeah, because Dave ruined it.
Yeah, I wrote it. We did a whole thing on it.
Yeah, anyways.
Next up.
Clint
Capella?
Dempsey.
Eastwood.
Ooh, Dukes.
Oh.
Ooh.
95. I'm going to be off by
Wow. Is he?
I could be way high.
I'll say 80, 88.
Okay, so I'm going to win this one, but the question is, how close am I?
94.
No,
Is he really?
He made a movie at 90. I remember that.
He's still going. I mean, he's starting to look all of it. You know, like when they get really old, the skin just starts falling off right in front of you. But there was a story Tom Hanks told about the way that Clint Eastwood directs movies not that long ago. And he said, most directors make a big deal. They go, all right, everybody, quiet on the set. Lights, camera, and action. He goes, when you're doing a movie with Clint Eastwood, he's directing, he'll just sit around, look around, and he just kind of waits and goes, all right, go ahead. And then they start acting, and he goes, and so we do the thing, we're acting and all that, and then we stop the dialogue. Acting's done. We're just kind of keep going because he likes us to kind of vamp a little bit, and finally he just goes, all right, that's enough. And he walks away. Not that, just, all right, that's enough.
He's literally seen enough.
He has seen enough.
I can't.
God bless Clint Eastwood. Moving on.
I think so.
All right, let's see if you guys can get this one. Waka.
Well, you're either doing the Fozzie Bear explanation,
Waka.
or I'm going to go, are we talking about Mr. Flock of Flame?
That is correct.
All right. Waka Flocka Flame is 37.
Wow. Yeah, that's probably a great guess.
one.
I have no idea. Yeah, I'll say 34.
Okay.
Nah, 35. We'll say 35.
Watch is like 48.
Yeah.
Dave again, 38. Off by one.
That's right.
Kind of tracks.
I know Waka Flocka Flame.
He was like my high school anthem. Like every high school dance for me was Waka Flocka Flame.
Is he still cool?
My goodness, no.
We're done with Waka
Very
Flocka.
irrelevant,
What about Wiz Khalifa?
He's more of a name than he is like an actual figure.
He's in that weird in between where he's not yet a nostalgia act, but he's
Okay.
also not like filling stadiums.
2 Chainz. Where are we at with 2 Chainz?
I think he's verging on, I won't say irrelevance, but I think his time has passed.
Okay, all right. They start playing the casinos. Nothing wrong with that.
Probably. Yeah, that's probably a good route for him.
All right, who's next?
Last one, let's go with Joe.
Mama. Right? Montana? Joe Theismann.
I assume it's not Joe Biden.
No. Dave's on the right track.
Joe Burrow.
No, still wrong Joe quarterback. First name
Joe Harrington.
First name Broadway.
Joey Namath.
There you go.
Joe Namath wants to kiss you.
Yeah.
I'd let him kiss me. Screw it. It's Broadway Joe. It'd be a good story. Broadway Joe is 83.
Oof. I would say 90.
I think we're both too high here.
81.
Yeah, 81.
Yikes.
Yeah.
He's looked bad for a while.
He's lived a life. It's a life well lived. We'll take a break. When we come back, Kyle Ledbetter's Friday Fun and Games.
Do we know how this is going to go?
I have no idea.
Oh, boy.
We'll do all that right after this.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
And a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Satown Sports.
We all have some things from the past that we might regret, or better yet, might like to get rid of. I'm talking about that mistake you made years ago that still may be haunting you. How great would it be if that could be expunged and gone? Poof, just like that. But where do you go for something like that? Try the Gonzalez Law Offices. Jonathan Gonzalez is right here in downtown Sacramento, and he's here for you. Maybe you need someone for wrongful termination. Again, the Gonzalez Law Offices. Go to saclegaldefense.com or call them at 916-304-9187.
Sacramento, Dirk Bentley is coming to town.
Hey y'all, this is Dirk Bentley.
Saturday, September 28th at Heart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends.
This is Bonnie. Take my hand, let me make you mine.
Hey, it's Dasha. Kelsey Hart and more. Saturday, September 28th at Heart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets before they sell out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow. Sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
We have finally made it to Friday.
Let's end your week the right way with Friday Fun and Games
on the Carmichael Dave Show.
Oh, wait, no. We're back.
Which one are you trying to find?
The one with is it that long ago? Was it 6 years ago? Uproar.
Oh.
Off the Carter 5.
Oh.
I'll never forget. I said, that's gonna be a hit. And that might be the most well-known, right?
Unnecessary.
I mean, why can't he be? I mean, this is a bad example, but Paul McCartney is still putting, the Madonna.
Yeah. What are you going to talk about, right? I think that's always a big thing. Eminem came up talking about some crazy stuff.
Yes.
Now he's got a daughter who's
Just
married. Right? You have to, and that's
where's
why
Eminem's 444 is what Eminem.
Yes.
Okay, well,
maybe this will be it.
Yeah.
But
I talked about this yesterday because Whitey keeps trying to do the whole diss track thing. And I'm like, why don't we do uplifting track? Like,
we heard a snippet too.
Yeah, of what Whitey said.
His diss track.
You're gonna get cooked.
I think it was unreleased.
Dude,
And maybe I'm sure you heard it. I think you were saying you guys were sending things back and forth.
You're getting cooked.
Just why do you assume I'm gonna get cooked?
Because I heard it.
But but why do you assume I don't have any arrows in my quiver?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not getting dragged into it.
Yeah.
I know, right?
You had 2 minutes worth yesterday.
Yeah. I actually wrote a full diss track.
Okay.
I did, but I don't want it. Why can't we just uplift each other?
Because that's
so
no
simple.
fun.
It is no fun.
Well, that is a great question, Dave.
Thanks.
Especially when you position yourself as if you are uplifting.
That's exactly. I do try to be uplifting, as you know, or at least I position myself that way, as you said. It's all a ruse.
That's right.
It's all a ruse, baby. That's how you win the game.
That's right.
Hey, speaking of not very fun, Kyle Ledbetter's taking over Friday Fun and Games this week.
I believe in you, Kyle.
Yeah,
I
don't, but I want to. I'm here. I don't want any wet fishes. Okay?
Gentlemen,
yeah,
we are going to a classic here today.
Yes.
Oh, $20,000 pyramid.
Hey, that's safe. That's safe by Kyle, but smart.
Okay, I like
safe
it.
but smart.
Time for us to play the feud.
All right.
Yeah.
So lay it out. What are we doing and how are we doing it?
All right. Well, I was hoping you would have a teammate, but Dave, it looks like you're by yourself
That's
today.
fine. Yeah, as
and
usual.
then the team of Styles and Watkins are going to be going against each
1
other.
on 2.
I have 2 games based on time. We're probably only going to get to 1.
Sorry, we had important things to talk about.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to put top 6 answers up on the board. Boop-a-doop-a-doop.
Nice. Okay, I like it.
All right. Dave, you can go first.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Top
How many
6
advantages is this guy going to get?
players who have scored the most points in an NBA Finals game.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan is the number 1 answer. Which means you guys don't guess because that would only help Dave. Dave, do you want to play or pass this category on to Styles and Watkins?
All right, we're adjusting the rules a little bit. That's fine. I'll keep playing. I see what you're saying. No, we're not adjusting the rules.
You don't have to keep going if you don't want.
I
You can have them try and
I'll
guess.
pass it.
You want to pass?
I will pass it.
All right, so that means Styles and Watkins, you have to name 2 through 6 on most points scored by a player in an NBA Finals game. You get 3 strikes.
Yeah, and if you miss, then I get 1 chance to steal.
Okay.
Suckers.
Chris, let's get one out the way.
Yeah.
LeBron James is the number 2 answer for his 51-point game, famously where J.R. Smith forgot what time was on the clock.
All right, short on time. Let's go.
I will try Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille O'Neal is correct.
Told you.
The number 6 answer on the board.
Oh, almost.
Can we hear total?
So we have number 1, Michael
what was his
Jordan.
point total?
Oh, it was 44.
Okay.
All right, next.
We
are both of us?
Yeah.
Anyone
can throw one out.
1 on 2.
Kyrie
Irving
Say that.
is
wrong.
incorrect.
I know they had that game where they both.
I don't know. I mean,
I think they both had 40.
What about Wilt?
No.
Okay, I'm going to pause here in distinct. We're just doing post-merger.
Okay.
Post-merger.
Well, then give me Kobe.
Kobe Bryant is incorrect.
2 strikes. Hey, don't be looking
Yeah,
at the
because
computer.
I had to do post-merger because it would be like Elgin Baylor.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Elgin Baylor?
I just
Last one. Last chance.
last chance. 3 on the board. 3
on
through
the board.
5.
Oh, Giannis.
Giannis Antetokounmpo is correct.
Yeah.
Number 3 with a 50 burger to
Yeah.
close out the Suns.
What do you think, Chris?
The
The chef? Larry?
I want to say KD, but I don't know. I can't think of the specific performance. Steph, I don't know if he ever had 40 in a
What about
finals
Larry?
game.
Larry
Probably did. Larry's probably a safe guess.
Give me Larry.
Larry Legend is incorrect.
I'm going out like that.
All right. I'll say Steph Curry then.
Steph Curry. Dave, you're trying to steal for the win.
I am.
So the number 4 answer on the board was Allen Iverson.
AI.
Feels like an easy.
A 48-point game 1 of the finals.
Oh, yeah.
Damn it all the heck.
Yeah.
And the number 5 answer on the board is, in fact, Allen's favorite player, Stephen Curry, which he, for some reason, chose not to pick, instead going for Larry Bird.
I didn't want my partner mad at me.
Oh, this Allen. I thought you meant Allen Iverson. Okay.
No.
All right. So Carmichael Dave 1-2 is up 1-0.
Good job.
One more ding, Kyle.
Yeah. Next category.
I think we're done.
Do we want to play again?
I don't think we have time, but what is the next category?
Next category, we were going to put top 4 answers on the board for post-merger, the NBA teams with the most games scoring over 150 points.
All right, so what do you guys come on the show today? Well done, Kyle.
Good job, Kyle.
Well done, Kyle.
Thank you.
Kyle did, great
Kyle.
job. All right. Let's not get carried away.
Okay.
What's coming up on the show today?
A lot of Mike Brown talk.
Yeah, you know my theory.
I know your theory, but
I don't think it was the Kings.
I know, but the streets are talking.
The streets are talking. I don't listen to them though. I don't know anything about the streets. Just the boulevards and the avenues.
That's right.
All right, what are you going to talk about today, Chris?
We'll try and figure that out. We have another ESPN mock draft, ESPN.com mock draft. There's just a lot of guards that keep going to the Kings. We talked a little about it yesterday, but also what keeps getting involved in these mock draft write-ups, things that aren't about the actual player themselves with their connection with the Kings. Yesterday we read one. They talked about the Mike Brown extension for the whole write-up. This time there's apparently news that the Kings are aggressively shopping number 13.
Yeah, they're not using this pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
We know that, right?
Slowly trending.
That's why it's called a mock draft.
Yeah, a lot of Mike Brown talk, the relationships that he has with the players, the relationship that the fans have with Mike Brown, those connections. And if you're going to be the big dog, you got to act like the big dog.
You ever see that thing on the internet where the guy goes, "Are you a mockingbird?" And then the mockingbird goes, "You a mockingbird? You a mockingbird?" Yes. Always gets me every single time. Is it time to go? All right. Thank you, Kyle. Well done today. Thanks to everybody associated with the program in general. All of you. Love you. Be safe. All of you back on Monday. Stay tuned for these fellers. Bye-bye now.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help.